Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the United States of a Movie podcast. We're the movie podcast that makes every Monday a fun day as we get together and we talk movies, but we have a purpose here at the United States of a Movie. We're the podcast trying to find one movie to define each state in these United States. We've already done one trip around the country. We're currently on our second, and today we're taking a detour. We're taking a hard left because we've got a challenge episode. This one's going to be exciting because we stop in my adopted home state of Texas. Ooh, y'all, this is going to be a good one. Before we get into it, though, let's welcome back our regulars. As always, looking fantastic. Ryan Sander, welcome back to the show.
I'm glad you said we're taking a hard left and not an alt-right. No, it's great to be here. I think, again, another episode where, making up for the turd of movies we had to watch last week more than made up for it this week.
Yeah, and the spectrum of the movies that we have to talk about this week is going to be a banger. We'll get to it in a moment because, as always, sitting in the middle of his very own video store in Los Angeles, California, Will Hirsch. Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Hey, dudes! I'm so glad one of these movies we're going to get to talk about.
He's doing the whole episode as Stumpy. He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
I'm going to commit to it. I'm committed to the bit. Yeah.
Please don't do the whole
show. It's just as unintelligible that I thought.
But some of the eagle-eyed and eagle-eared among you may notice we have our special guest back on the show. We had him last season for one of our special episodes. This one, he's the one that brought one of these movies to the table, and we're so happy to have you back, Adam Tinius, a.k.a. Entertain the Elk. Welcome back, Adam.
Thank you, fellas, for having me back on the show. Happy to talk movies. Happy to talk Texas movies with you guys. You are the adopted son, and I guess I am the, I don't know, the one that got away, the one that left Texas, but still, it's got a place in my heart.
Yeah, well, we've Texas, we've already visited it a couple of times. It's a very popular state when it comes to movies. You got some incredible movies, and this time around, I'm quite excited because there's one movie sort of like from the 50s I've never seen, and honestly it's part of like a type of movie I haven't really seen much about. And then the other one, I use the term movie.
Is Rio Bravo? Sorry, you're setting me up. I was biting my fucking lip.
Do it, mate, do it. The other one is set in the town in which I live, the city where I live, and honestly, I knew every single location. It was getting a little bit crazy.
It's possible you were conceived during the making of this movie.
I feel like I'm pregnant after watching it. Honestly, I feel like
the city has been untouched.
Yeah.
40 years since then.
It's first of all, Adam, it's just great having you back on. I tell you, my TikTok algorithm just knows what I like, and I'm loving all of the things that you've been doing. I've been obsessively watching all of the Scrubs, all of the Community, all of the TV stuff that you've been doing.
Wow, thank you.
Honestly, since you were last on the show as well, you did your own trip around the States as well. So you're like basically the perfect guest for this podcast. Yeah. You've been around the States as well. You've picked a lot of movies.
You could tell us everything we're doing wrong.
Yeah, dude. You could
I know a decent amount of movies, but you guys are introducing me to new movies that I've never heard of, movies I thought I would never see, and I'm so thankful that I've got to enjoy now, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But I'm so happy to be here, and I haven't made it to all 50 on my podcast like you guys have multiple times. I'm still working my way through.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's interesting when I watch those episodes, because it's like some of your choices, I'm always fascinated, like, where's he going to end up?
Yeah.
Because, it's the same thing with us sometimes, that we're surprised by the movies that we end up choosing for the show, but then we're more surprised by the one that we end up choosing to win.
It's shocking.
We walk in going, there's no way that one's going to win. And suddenly, just with the right argument in the right moment, suddenly it's like, I can't believe it, but we've got the champion, and it's the least likely.
For example, Rhinestone won our last episode, which I was looking at we have a Google Doc of like all the movies and all the winners, and looking back at that, I'm like, are we sure? What was wrong? What? No, there's no way.
It was the right choice in the moment. I'll tell you another one that we really enjoyed recently, Adam. I'd love to get your opinion on it. We've been it's one of our new absolute favorites. Have you seen Hundreds of Beavers?
No, I've seen it advertised. It's like a throwback to a silent film, right? Where it's like
It's
black and white and kind of like
Yeah,
zany.
but it's
It
Looney
looks awesome.
Tunes,
It's
it's
incredible.
Roadrunner, it's video game progression, and it's a black and white silent movie, and it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I don't know
This-
why I thought it was a foreign made. Is it it takes
It
place in the
seems
States?
like it would be, but
It
no,
looks
it's
like
all
it
It's just
made by the
Wisconsin,
Soviets.
so
Yeah.
Oh, it's Wisconsin?
yeah.
But it's these 2, 3 guys. Basically, they were shot in like 2022. They kind of raised like $500,000, and it's you watch it and you go, "Well, this will work for 10 minutes," and then you're like, at 10 minutes, like, how are they going to make this work for half
Yeah.
an hour? And then an hour and 40 minutes in, you're like going, "I cannot believe they pulled this off." I tell you, I would love to get your opinion on it. I
Oh,
would
100%.
devour your
Yes.
TikToks on it, but it's a
Oh
definite.
man, I need to watch it. Okay,
It's a
I need to
big
check
recommendation.
You've
I
given me
need,
a homework assignment.
like, whenever I'm out in public, like talking about this podcast or movies, I'm like so quick to mention, have you seen Hundreds of Beavers? And then I'm immediately washing my eyes out from being pepper sprayed. The title is so insane.
You're running up to children and shaking them and asking them if they've
Hundreds of
seen it.
Beavers.
That was before I'd ever even seen the movie.
The
Yeah.
thing is, it would be. It's a movie for everybody, and it's like I said,
yeah.
it's kind of like America's Mr. Bean in a way, but its sense of humor, one, is brilliant. Like I was laughing every 10 seconds,
Yeah.
but it's also like I said, the way they pull off the logic of the movie and the way that it all perfectly makes sense. That when it escalates to the point of Godzilla level ridiculousness or Star Warsian level like beaver constructions, you're just all in. It's like Wallace and Gromit, all of it put together.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Can I show this to my kids, or is this like adults?
No, I would say it is. It is. You could show it to kids because, like, any animal in it is someone just running around in a costume. And if they,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
an animal dies, they've got like X's across.
It is cartoony violence, but it is pretty violent. Like,
But like,
I cannot
if you
quantify
pull,
it.
if you
Yeah.
pull, if they're cutting
all
into
stuffing,
the thing,
yeah.
it's all stuffed animals.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all the guts and stuff are like foam and like like stuffed animal type
It's-
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
is-
none of it
Okay.
is like
I
actual.
need to
gore.
check it out.
It is
I'll
really,
add
it
to
is
the
really
list.
good.
I
It is
wish
really
I would been able to see this like, as a young kid. Like this would have blown my mind.
Mhm.
I had to watch this as a shitty adult.
But enough of our retrospective. Like
Yeah,
I said, I'm
sorry.
looking forward to your TikTok about that, Adam.
Yes.
Let's tell us about the movie that you brought to the table. Like I said, you brought us sort of like a classic. It was quite funny because there are two movies that start with the same word, and they both star the same guy, and they're both made in the 50s. That it took us 3 days to figure out which one we were
Oh,
watching.
I was arguing with that over 2 weeks. I kept getting it wrong.
Is it Rio? Which one is it?
Rio Grande.
Yeah,
Nope,
it's so funny.
nope.
I was scrolling as I was watching it because I try as I'm doing research. Also, I'm kind of like looking at IMDb trivia and what were they making at the time? What was the director doing and stuff like that. And I was scrolling John Wayne and I saw Rio Grande and I was like, wait, he did the same movie twice? Oh, wait, this is Rio Bravo. Oh no, I hope that I said the right thing and that we're not all watching like different movies.
You
But
just
I-
basically
I-
dictated our text thread.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god,
We got
that
into
would
like
be
a
terrible.
heated argument over it. Like, no, you're wrong. I had to go back to your email several times just to confirm. And even then, like once I closed the email, immediately forgot.
I hope I put the year in there. If I didn't, then that was okay, whatever. Well, I'm glad we all watched the same thing. I guess we'll find out in a second.
Probably.
If so, you want me to dive into like the reason why I picked this movie?
Well, yeah. Tell us about the movie, basically. Yeah, introduce it to everybody.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'll say as a long-winded introduction of why I picked it, as I was telling the guys before we started, I always have kind of a running list of movies I've been meaning to get to, just never have the opportunity to. And so I take these opportunities to pick something. Now, you said, what do you think is the best Texas movie? And I'm going to answer you real quick before I get into this movie. Because I saw you guys showed me the list, and I know that right now Friday Night Lights is the reigning champion.
Yeah.
I will say that my favorite Texas movie is Dazed and Confused, but I saw that it lost on a challenge. I love Dazed and Confused, but I will say that I think if I like unbiased, just like the best Texas movie of all time, if I wanted to bring it today and I wanted to defeat the champion, I would have brought No Country for Old Men because I think that is probably a perfect movie.
Yeah.
A phenomenal Western, Coen brothers. Not a single wrong note in the movie. I freaking love that movie.
I
But
do love that movie.
I've talked about that movie a million times. I've seen it like 30 times. So again, this is my opportunity to say, I want to watch something new.
There you
So
go.
yeah, I recommended Rio Bravo, I believe 1959 by Howard Hawks. starring John Wayne, a little guy, a little unknown
Ooh.
star named Dean Martin. And also, did you guys see that Stumpy? I can't remember the actor's name. He's won like three supporting actor Academy Awards. Apparently, I think
What?
Not
he's won the most
enough.
Academy Awards as like a supporting actor. I was
Yeah.
like,
Ah,
that guy had a shtick, and that guy knew how to nail it.
hell yeah.
Anyways, the reason why this movie was on my list, I love Westerns. I haven't seen a ton of John Wayne Westerns. I've seen a handful. Uh, I love a good hangout movie. I love a movie like Dazed and Confused that doesn't always have the biggest plot, but it's vibes and it's
Mhm.
good characters.
Mhm.
And I'm always kind of fascinated by why those movies work. It just seemingly like Dazed and Confused. Richard Linklater does it a lot in his kind of movies, but it's like these guys are just hanging out, and I'm just loving watching these
Yeah.
people hang out. I could be watching them just drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette, painting a wall, and I'm just riveted. And so I was looking up like the best hangout movies, and Tarantino had a list of like his favorite 10 hangout movies, and a lot of Linklaters on there. And he is known to say that Rio Bravo, he thinks, is one of the great hangout movies. And so I was like, man, this sounds like an awesome movie, the way I was reading about it. And so, do you want me to give the plot of the movie for the audience who maybe hasn't seen the movie
Oh, absolutely. I
before?
mean, give it a go. But essentially,
Yeah.
you've said it's like a couple of guys hanging out in the West.
Yeah, very, very quickly in the opening scene, you have a cast of characters in this small, I believe, kind of border town, middle of nowhere, Texas and Mexico, and there's a murder in a saloon. John Wayne is the sheriff, and he, along with some other people, cast of characters, arrest this person, hold him in a jail cell. That's basically the impetus of the movie. And now the whole thing is they have to wait, I think 6, 7 days for the
Something
U.S.
like that.
Marshals to come and arrest this person. But who they've arrested is the son, or not the son,
The
the
brother.
the younger brother of I I can't really recall. Was he just like
A rich
very
rancher.
rich and
Yeah.
powerful,
Yeah.
kind of a dubious gunslinger himself, very powerful? So the idea is that they just have to lock this tiny town down. They have to hold this guy in a cell uh, while they wait out the U.S. Marshals coming in.
That's it.
That,
Basically,
that,
that's it. And
that's
it goes
small.
straight into that. I mean, like the very opening scene. I mean, I actually texted the guys going, did I miss something at first? Because like
I thought so
there's
too.
there's like, Dean Martin and like he comes in, obviously wants a drink. Then we're introduced to John Wayne very quickly. Dean Martin decks him. Then there's the murder happens, and then bloody John Wayne walks in, and suddenly Dean Martin's like backing him up, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And it only gets
Mm.
explained about 30 minutes into the movie. That's like, oh, this is what happened. He used to work. He was a drinker. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, it just got so quick. Now I think Ryan, you mentioned something on the text thread when you were watching it, and I didn't look into this. I'm interested in it. I want to know if
Yeah.
this is true. You mentioned something about John Carpenter.
Yeah, he used this as his inspiration for Assault on Precinct 13. Like that's the
So
kind of the same similar thing.
Dang.
So
yeah.
I went and watched Assault on Precinct 13, the original, afterwards because I'd never seen it. And I'm like, fuck, this movie rules.
So then you go to
It's
Rio
amazing.
Bravo. I walked in
Yeah.
going, so okay, Assault on Precinct 13. I'm like, oh, I see it. It's going to be kind of like a small, it's going to be tense, it's going to be like a tight sort of movie. And I was like, I'm watching the movie going, wow, they are just, we'll get to that part
Yeah.
eventually.
The last 10 minutes, pretty much. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
we're just going to hang out. I mean,
I
like,
was watching Rio Bravo with that expectation
me
too,
too.
thinking like, oh, they put him in jail. He's going to have a bunch of his boys try and raid the jail and try and break him out, and it's going to be this assault on this jail cell. But that's not at all what this film is. It really
But it
takes
also
time.
is though, because that is
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
happens. But it happens like with these 30-minute
Right.
gaps in between of
There's
just
so much more than just
yeah.
that.
I was just
Yeah.
actually so genuinely surprised by kind of like, what you were saying, Adam, is kind of like the hangout. And honestly, perfectly timed for me because the guys honestly have always talked about Patrick H. Williams. And I only just started watching his stuff
Yeah,
3
he's
days
great.
ago.
I love his stuff.
And I was just watching his Vibes episode, which is like, don't think about Tenet, don't think about Miami Vice, it's just vibes. And when you mention Rio Bravo and vibes, I go, oh, he's so right. That's
Yep.
exactly what this movie is.
Yeah, I think all the usual trappings you would expect from a Western. Like you think crazy shoot 'em ups, horses, across like vast, vistas of deserts, cowboys and Indians, kind of all those trappings are gone. And you are in this tiny town. We never leave this tiny town with about 6 buildings, and there's nothing really explosive until the end. Uh, it really kind of changes I don't know if it necessarily reinvents the wheel, but it trims everything down, and it really makes it all about the characters. And I think the opening scene you talk about really laid that foundation immediately. I don't think the first word of dialogue is spoken until maybe like 5 minutes in, maybe not that long. And I don't know how often that was happening in like the 1950s kind of movies. And it's really just that kind of old school writing, old school directing, where we're going to tell you everything you need to know about these characters, their dynamics, what they're struggling with, kind of what's driving them. We're going to tell you out without saying anything. And I was pretty much hooked from the first 2 minutes. It's the kind of adult filmmaking that makes you want to sit forward in your seat.
Yes.
When you're like, you're not spoon feeding this to me. You're like, oh, I'm having like you said, like, why did you punch him? And then in the next scene, you're backing him up. It makes you want to lean forward and be like, I gotta see what's happening here.
For me, it's always like for me, it's the percentage of time I feel like I want to be on my phone. And it's like, kind of like we mentioned, hundreds of beavers. In the first 2 minutes, I'm like, I never want to look at my phone ever again. And Rio Bravo, I'm watching it and I was astounded by like, wow, for such a slow moving sort of like old school movie, I'm riveted. And I'm like, at the same time, couldn't fundamentally explain why, but it's just like you've just got this sort of presence on screen. Now, Will is our resident, seen every movie since the creation of celluloid. Will, have you ever seen this movie, or is this a new one for you as well?
I have seen this movie so many times.
Really?
Oh, awesome, cool.
Oh, I've seen that. This is probably I watched it again today, just for the love of the game.
Hell yeah,
man, that's.
I own this in 4K.
Right
Yeah, I own the 4K. I think I've owned this movie on every format it's been available.
Dang,
at some
that's
point.
awesome.
So I saw this movie in high school, and I am not a John Wayne fan. I am a well-documented John Wayne hater.
He brings it up a lot.
Yeah, he
loves Wilford Brimley though.
He hates America.
Wilford Brimley's the greatest.
That's
right. But John Wayne, literally the worst. I like. So you said you've seen like you haven't seen very many John Wayne movies. I would say now you've seen 50% of all the good ones. You just need to watch the Cowboys, and then you've seen all of them. You don't need to watch.
I've heard The Searchers is kind of up there, like one of his best.
It's gorgeous, and it's got the first Captain Pike in it. That's cool. But it's extremely racist. So just bear that in mind as you watch it. And it's
What
not
about
even
the one where he plays
not even subtle about it.
Genghis Khan. I hear that one.
Somehow less racist.
Like an early Steven Seagal.
Right. But this movie, so not only have I seen it a bunch of times and I love it, I practically have it memorized. I saw it in the New Beverly at Tarantino's theater. And I've told you guys this story before. Adam, this will be the first time you're hearing it. But literally at my screening, the voice actor for SpongeBob sat right next to me. Like just by coincidence, he was there seeing with his buddies.
That's awesome.
Super funny guy. He was really nice. I thought he was a sketch comedy guy from way back in the day.
Tom Kenny, right?
Tom Kenny, yeah. So I told him afterward, like, I love Mr. Show, by the way. And he was super chill, super nice. But throughout the movie, he was even like getting in a few like jokes and quips like throughout the film. So I was watching it with him doing comedy commentary.
Shows happening.
Yeah, and I was like, this is the best screening ever.
Yes.
But this movie was so fun because I had never watched it with an audience before a few years ago. And it was funny how much everybody loved Stumpy. Like the audience just fell in love. And like there were scenes where the famous scene where Dean Martin's going in, he's like trying to find the guy he shot, like he winged. And we're skipping ahead a little bit in the story. But the audience was just riveted, like, how is this going to play out? Totally. And when the reveal happens of where the shooter is and Dean Martin, like, gets the drop on him, the audience just cheered and just broke out into, like, applause. So it was great seeing this with an audience and seeing that it still plays really well with a crowd who almost none of them, because they asked beforehand how many people had seen it. It was like me and two other weirdos had seen the movie. And everyone else was like so into it.
Dean Martin, actually, I love you brought him up. Like I said,
his best role by far.
Ryan and I are very much like our knowledge of movies kind of like starts at 1980 and kind of goes on from there. Like we're just, you know, obsessively about it. And now, granted, we'll watch some of these classic sort of old movies, but you know, I never really watched like Rat Pack movies, though I did see Ocean's 11 back in the day, you know, like the black and white one. And
And
you know,
got a
same
good
thing,
nap because
but
that's
same, yeah, same thing with sort of like John Wayne movies. Like I think the only John
Yeah.
Wayne movie I remember watching was The Longest Day, which is like the D-Day movie and things like that. But Dean Martin shows up, one, such a surprise to me, but I was really, like you said, Will, I was so caught off guard by how good Dean Martin is in this
Yeah.
movie. Like he's
Yeah.
really
He
good.
escaped into that role. Like I was not expecting. I just saying, like while he was saying, like I didn't grow up really enjoying Western movies in general. There's like a ton that I haven't seen. I think maybe the first Western I like properly sat down and watched was Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead, which
Classic.
doesn't really count. It's a great movie, but I was just never a fan of this particular genre, and I was hesitant like going into this, and yet I was so engaged the entire time. Like this is like one of the most entertaining movies I'd really seen like in this genre.
Mhm.
And it's like it's sweet and it's funny, like literally very fun, a funny
genuinely
movie,
very
like
funny.
which I was
Yes.
not expecting. And you know, like we said, you still have that tension of knowing something is going to go down is still throughout this entire thing.
I think
Kind of
that's the
build everything
genius.
around it.
Yeah, I think that's the genius of the movie is it's the antagonists are constantly trying to get into the jail cell.
Yeah.
And they're doing it, it's a different way every time. So you're just constantly like, you know, so you can have a hangout movie in between that where you're having scenes between characters, you're getting a bit of their history, stories moving forward. It is moving slow, but you almost kind of want it to move slow because you're like, I don't want the bad guys to get in. And you've got that tension of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
let's keep the chill vibes going. Don't
Mhm.
don't let the bad guys get in.
I'm just
Now imagine
amazed.
all the bad guys were all vampires.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
now hold
Now, see,
on.
I'm just amazed by the whole like that it didn't get Kingdom of Heaven. So like Adam, I don't know if you've ever seen like so Kingdom of Heaven, the Ridley Scott movie, Orlando Bloom came out, didn't really do much. The director's cut is an hour and 20 minutes longer and is one of Ridley Scott's absolute bangers. Like it's
Yeah.
such a good movie. And in this movie, like if you took Rio Bravo and showed it to like, you know, we always talk on this podcast about studio people just not knowing anything about movies and they always make terrible decisions. But they would have been like, cut that, cut that. It would have been, you would have had attempt number one, attempt number two, and attempt number three, big shootout, explosion, credits. And it's kind of like all of these guys are saying, like, if you haven't seen the movie at home, is the movie is everything that's happening in between. And then you get little bookends with like a caper here, a caper there. Oh, they've got the drop on him. Oh no, something else has happened. And then we finally kind of, you get the sort of the big moment at the end. And then you get an extra scene afterwards to wrap up the character stuff. Any other movie would have been victory, right off into the sunset, explosion, you know, and it doesn't do that.
I did think John Wayne was going to end up wearing those red pants, though. I was waiting for
hoping.
that to come back. I thought,
That was a great bit. And actually, there's one person we haven't talked about, and we really should, is Angie Dickinson in this movie as Feathers. Is that one, I probably fell in love with her watching this movie.
oh,
She's
for sure,
the most
stunning.
beautiful women I've ever seen. But
Really
also,
close between her and Stumpy. Like,
Yeah, well,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Get me drunk enough, you know, I'll give him a stumper.
Angie Dickinson with Stumpy's voice. Now, there we go.
That's nightmare fuel, Will. But it's like, yeah, Angie Dickinson is fun, is funny, and
Yeah.
it's the banter that she has with John Wayne
Yeah.
of like she's talking him around in circles sometime and frustrating him was great fun.
I think to go back to some old movies about why I think this works, to point to other movies, and we've hit on Howard Hawks, the director of this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen any other Howard Hawks movies. Will, I bet you have. He made some of the most popular screwball comedy movies, which were known for like a strong male, a strong female, and like it's romantic, but they're like butting heads on, and doing quips back and forth. And like I think he did Bringing Up Baby, and he also did
His Girl Friday.
His Girl Friday. Thank you,
And,
which is
like,
probably one of my favorites of his.
Yeah, yeah,
Another
I've heard
Quentin
of
Tarantino favorite also.
Yeah.
And so I think Howard Hawks just knew how to like get the timing of comedy, and he also did some really good dramas, obviously. But I feel like he knew how to use those things in tandem, which worked really well. Speaking of the dynamic of the the male and female lead. I don't know if you guys noticed the one of the co-writers of this movie. Oh, let me look up her name real quick so I can give her credit where credit is due. Lee Brackett.
Okay.
She worked for a lot of worked on a lot of movies, and I saw that her last credit was for writing the first draft for The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh
And
shit.
she died after writing the first draft of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that
Wow.
just seems like different worlds of
That's
making movies.
crazy.
I was like, I wonder if some of that excellent banter, because there was a lot of Han
Yeah,
Solo, Princess Leia in there.
that's
As
true.
I looked it up on IMDb as I was watching it, and so
Yeah.
I was like, man, I wonder if that's where I'm getting getting that such a good dynamic of the romantic leads
So true.
and romantic and combative at times, but really works. I think that worked really well. And I think pointing to another movie of what it worked was the tension we're talking about. And there's another one of my favorite Westerns is called High Noon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to
And
bring that up.
yeah, very little happens in the movie. Almost nothing happens to the end. But the whole point is he's waiting in this small town. You're waiting for the bad guys to come. Like they're waiting for that train to come. And this guy, I think Gary Cooper, is going around trying to get recruits and trying to prepare for it. That's what that tension works so well. So it's
That's
not
awesome.
happening at the time, but you're just waiting for like that next shoe to drop. You're waiting for the moment of the vibes and hang out and good times and smoke rolling a
Yeah.
cigarette.
You
You
know it can't
know that
last.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden
Mhm.
someone can just get sniped hiding in, a barn somewhere.
Yeah.
That tension and comedy and romance and suspense. Again, I don't know. It feels like a movie that shouldn't work, but
Yeah.
it does flawlessly. It was amazing.
You've got me thinking about like 70-something-year-old Lee Brackett just going, scruffy looking nerf herder. Yes, that's that.
God, wouldn't that be great if she came up with that term? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like
Yes.
just George Lucas took her out because I'm taking credit for all that. There we
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, exactly like what you're saying is that yeah, there's those moments. It was quite shocking to me of like here we are, we're in the vibes. He's got his friend who's bought the sort of like who came in with Colorado.
Right.
Can I just also say I just love the way John Colorado.
Mhm.
But like suddenly his buddy gets taken out. Boom, dead. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like the way that you know the moments of shift in the script just happen, and it's a big one. It's a big shift, and now we're in the new reality, and it's just like it's playing a little bit of like some amazing sort of like it's amazing bit of magic because the whole time like even now talking with you guys I'm like yeah but why how did they make this work what were they doing
Well,
usually
he's putting a team together. Obviously, that's
Oh,
why it works.
there
My
you
favorite
go.
thing. It's
Ryan's second
ragtag
favorite
team.
thing to do
Colorado, played by not Elvis Presley. Come on.
dude thank
By
you
Ricky Nelson, father of the Nelson twins. We all know this. Come on.
Did not know. Did not know him.
Yeah, go on
What?
tell us help us out here tell us a little bit about Ricky Nelson because that guy had a face and a half.
Yeah, he was a
That guy.
baby.
He is definitely like one of those original like pretty boy kind of like singer crooner types. He died in a plane crash not too long after this movie.
I was gonna say, I think he was like 40 when he died or something like that. I looked up,
Yeah.
I was like, oh
He-
man, dang.
Maybe it was a while after this.
He died in
but
85.
85. Okay, so never mind. I'm completely wrong. But I knew
I'm
he
still
died.
super
Thinking
young.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, his his like twin boys became like pop idols in the 80s, the Nelson twins.
Dang.
I cannot name a single Nelson twin song. That's
No.
just the only fact I know about them.
Looking
But,
this up right now.
But the thing you guys are talking about, like I can't believe that this movie works as well as it does with all the ingredients. Funny thing is, they remade this movie 10 years later with John Wayne, same plot, and Robert Mitchum plays the Dean Martin part, and James
Ooh.
Caan plays the Ricky Nelson part, and it sucks shit.
Oh no.
Bad movie.
And James Caan's one of those actors that just never looked young. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Even
He
then,
came out
'cause
of
he-
the womb with an old
yeah,
face.
he's got that
Yeah.
Walter Matthau gene. Like, he just never.
Yes.
Like, even watching Thief, I'm like, this man is 60 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crazy.
yeah.
It's like, I'm 18.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, even because he's pretty young, and the movie's called El Dorado. Funny enough, but it's even in that movie, James Caan looks like an old man. He
Right.
looks like he's been doing it for a while, but he's like, I'm 18, and I'm like, oh no. It's kind of like the Blob with oh my God, what's his name?
Steve McQueen.
Steve
Oh
McQueen,
yeah, yeah.
who looked 47 when he was like
He
18 because
did, yeah.
he just chain smoked in between every take. You know,
That was
kind
the
of
best reveal on that when you can see the smoke coming out because he was smoking in between takes and they're just like fucking leave
yeah,
it in, whatever.
just
Wait.
action.
Pause. I've looked up El Dorado, the 1966 film, starring John Wayne, directed and produced by Howard Hawks.
It's the
Oh, no
same team,
way.
the
What?
same team, same basic plot.
Do you
Let's
think you
roll it
just
back, guys.
yeah,
Let's
it's like,
do it
you think
again.
we'll just change the title, no one will ever know.
Yeah, no, literally. I think it's because like, you know, back in the day they didn't have
Yeah.
like physical media, and unless you want to see if you ever want to see a movie again, you had to hope they re-released it.
Ah.
So I think the thinking was like, well, it's been some years. We can just remake it. The
It's a good
movie.
thing
It
modern
gets-
Hollywood would never do that.
It gets
Yeah.
crazier, guys. It gets crazier. So instead of like, so James Caan, he's playing the character. Instead of it being
Yeah.
instead of it being Colorado, his nickname is Mississippi. We changed it,
Jesus
guys.
Christ.
Oh, wow.
This
Jeez.
is insane.
My dad and I saw that movie, and when that came up, he's like, "I'm Mississippi." We just cracked up.
Is
We're
it like a-
God, they literally couldn't even be
Is it like
bothered.
a Fantastic Four thing where they're just trying to hold on to the rights and they have to
Written-
release
it's
one every
I think so.
Written by Lee Brackett.
shit.
Which she
It is
described
the
as the
same
best
movie.
script I've ever done in my life, apart from the first one that I did, a few years ago.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way.
This one was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She just crossed out some names
Yeah,
and just was like,
find
it's the
and
best thing
find
I've
and
ever done.
replace. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, this is fascinating. So it was one of those things where Wayne how as a production year, the more we got into doing Rio Bravo over again, the sicker I got because I hate doing things over. And I kept saying to Howard, I did that, and he says, it's okay, we can do it over again. They just
I mean,
Bucket.
the last note that I took was that it felt kind of stuck in old Hollywood. And
Mhm.
even though this worked for me, this was definitely like the dark time of like that first generation of movies that just would not die.
Mhm.
Because even like this, it was painfully like sets and it was painful or stages
Yeah.
and some you're just like this is probably none of this is real. But there's a charm to it that worked for
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
But in especially the late 50s and early 60s before, Bonnie and Clyde and like this
Yeah.
this new auteur cinema that came around, that was like a dark time of Hollywood
this
cinema.
felt like a play.
I was gonna say that this did
Mhm.
the way the shots were staged and the blocking did feel very play-like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It didn't, but
I
it
don't
didn't take
mind.
me out of it.
I
And
like-
it didn't bother me.
I like when you have good characters and good dialogue and dynamics and clear goals, and every character had their own kind of hurdle to overcome, whether like detoxing or I guess
Running a hotel with your wife.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Or like Stumpy's like I guess kind of handicapped or whatnot, and everyone had something to work with,
Yeah.
and. But man, I guess that just shows that I don't know if someone was just gonna get magic in a bottle. You try to recreate it, and it's just. But I bet it sounds like even when they were creating it, there was like no love there. I'm sure you try and just recreate it, like just do it again. It's like okay, well then what are we even doing then?
I think like we were saying, like you take someone like John Carpenter who like grew up watching this movie and takes elements of that and then spins it into this modern lens and just takes like the core concept but builds this violent 80s synth pop thing around it.
Yeah, it's crazy
so
to
funny.
me. Sorry, I was going to say it's just
No, go ahead,
crazy
go ahead.
that for this one is how kind of what we're talking about, be it like the staging and be it the small nature of it, and kind of what you said right at the beginning, Adam, about the lack of sort of vistas. And I'm just thinking about so many of these other movies, even like, did we even do Young Guns, guys? But we had
We
like,
did.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Cassidy.
Kid, and all these are like we've done
True
Tombstone, I
Grit.
want to say True Grit, right? And it's like it's so much of these sweeping things, and I thought I was gonna
Unforgiven
at
was the other one,
first, at first, as this movie's getting started, I'm like, oh man, is it gonna be all like this? And then I just
No shot of a train in the
yeah.
distance. Like
I mean, like we get the opening shot of a bunch of saguaro cactuses, famous for being part of Texas.
Yeah.
it's just so we got obvious Arizona to anyone, like because we all met in Arizona, and
It's literally shot, I think,
Old Tucson,
Old Tucson, a mile or two from where I shot my short film. If you go on like YouTube and you see like my short film
Mars.
Dirt.
Yeah.
It's literally if you go across the street, that's where they were shooting.
But-
this.
It really. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Finish your thought, please.
I was just going to say the funny thing about that I was reading is that so it's set on this classic Tucson movie set, where they shoot TV and movies back in the day, right? But they pulled it off. But it's the bit that I learned is that the old Tucson sets are built 7/8 scale to make everyone look bigger.
Yes.
I was like, what the heck?
That's
Like,
weird.
yeah.
Yep. It's weird because I've
Tom
been
Cruise
there.
does it.
It's totally weird when you go there and you are like, everything is like a little too small.
It's like Munchkin Land.
Yeah, it's very strange. And I'm not a tall guy, so it is like very strange, like when you show
But
up.
how good did it feel walking through that town?
It felt pretty great, I'm not gonna lie.
Go under that door. And it's like,
Yeah. Oh, this is what it's like to be an adult. This is great.
I love the vibe of the isolation though. Like it
Yep.
really added to
Yes.
the paranoia and suspense. Like we the audience didn't know what was beyond these like this one strip of road. Like even beyond that, they made it sound like they have it locked down. You can't leave. You're trapped. You can't go anywhere. And it really added to this suffocation and claustrophobia kind of vibe.
I
That
bought
again,
it too.
that I feel like then people in the 80s can take and really make it kind of more horror vibe with
Yeah.
that, or really kind of thriller. They didn't go that route with it, but you definitely feel the tension.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I just, the thing is, we got to get back to talking about that because the entire conceit of the next movie we're going to talk about is that you can't get out of the city of Waco.
You go from
anyway but
minimalism
flying.
to maximalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dropped in Waco.
to take
Oh,
to take
man.
the exact same conceit, flip it on its head, and do it terribly
Yeah.
is exactly the next movie because you are so right
Yeah.
at it. Because it's again. I would have thought I'd been frustrated by it. I would have thought I'm like, where's the sweeping? Where's the this? It's not. None of it happens because everyone is operating just dialed up to 11. Like, Wayne is like, I don't need, like, honestly,
There's so much chemistry between
Yeah.
all these characters that
Like every
That-
single
yeah,
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That,
man.
that the actual backstory of the guy in the jail, I'm kind of like forgetting about it because I'm more
Yeah.
engaged with the dynamic with him and Feather and him and Dean's character, like just
Dude, what a great
just
name.
dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he the first dude?
I know,
It might be- it
he
might
is
be
now.
Dude. It's like, dude.
I think you're right though about the person in the jail, like the murderer at the very beginning. That might be the weakest character. That felt like I don't really know anything about
Yeah.
him besides like I'm rich and powerful. But literally everybody else in the movie, like the person who owns the hotel,
Yes.
I liked him whenever he
Carlos,
popped.
right?
Basically, whenever
Yep.
someone popped up of this crew of 6 people, I was like, oh great.
Yeah.
There's never like a eye roll of all right, get out of here so I can get back to the movie. It's like, man, you like, and then at the very end, when the big kind of climax is happening, they all kind of pop up and like have a moment.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
man, you're here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Carlos,
And
exactly. I love
Yeah.
Carlos.
Yeah,
He's-
the bit
he
of
cracks me
something.
up when he
Yeah,
turns up
he
with
was
the
great.
when he turns up with a bruised eye. It's when he's explaining to John Wayne's character. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you told me that I have my responsibility. I carry the woman, and instead of
Yeah.
doing that whole scene,
Yeah.
get Carlos to tell the story is 10 times funnier.
I was
Yeah,
noticing
absolutely.
like all of the like Looney Tunes character influences pulled from some characters from this movie, specifically Carlos, specifically like Stumpy. I was like, I know this character from somewhere. This voice, it's so iconic.
Totally.
But I couldn't place it.
Mhm.
I wonder if that must be where it originated from. Because I think we've all heard that kind of, oh, I'm a prospector kind of.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
It's
is this
Gus,
the dude
literally
who,
Gus
like,
Chiggins. Yeah,
this
from
is
Yeah.
the
SNL.
dude who like made this? You're like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
It's so
He's
cool
just
when you
banging
when
on
you see
some
people stated.
pans.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, 'cause I don't know when we're winding down, but I want to mention. I think my favorite part, the typical or the guys being dudes moment, where it's just like nothing is happening. They should have probably a studio note would have been cut this scene. Is when Dean Martin is just singing a song, they're rolling cigarettes.
Yep.
They're just vibing out together. They're like singing, playing some music. John Wayne's just leaning back, loading his shotgun. Whatever is happening, I was like, and then the moment, I think I got a little disappointed by the end because when they were like, "Let's get some food, water. We're gonna be locked down in here. We're gonna wait them out." I was like, "This is the movie I want to see.
Yes.
I don't want them to leave this room. I just want good dialogue. I want them, and I want to hear them trying to break in from the outside."
Like the
It's so
Hateful Eight,
funny.
like you could
It's
see.
so
that-
yeah,
Right.
and it's so funny. I even in my mind, I was like, "Man, have I seen a movie like that?" Because I would love that movie. And then I was like, I wonder, because I've never seen Assault on Precinct 13. And I was like, I wonder if it's like that. And it's so funny that you brought that up.
No.
I bet what a great
It is not.
concept. Oh, it's not like that. No. Oh, is it not a good movie? Oh,
No, it's a fantastic movie. It's just it doesn't have any of those elements. Assault on Precinct 13 features. It's like a lieutenant is sent to a police precinct that's going on. It's like defunct. They're being moved, and there's a prison transfer that goes awry, and they have to stop to because one of the prisoners on the bus is sick, so they have to stop at this small precinct in LA where they're keeping this prisoner.
Mm.
And it's not like everyone is trying to break in to try and break this guy out. That's not even what it's all about. It's just the part of this
Oh,
town fucking sucks. And they're just like,
gotcha.
fuck it, I
Oh,
guess we're gonna
okay.
blow up this precinct. And I tell you, it's like hundreds of bad guys. It's ridiculous.
Dang.
But
Well,
it's so good.
but I think that's what works. Like when you have the characters that are so good, you
Yes.
love all of them together. Again, it defies logic, and it's such a weird genre of the hangout movie where you're like, why does this work? Like
Mm.
Dazed and Confused could be an 8 hour movie, and I'm like, yeah, let's like drive around listening to these, tunes and smoking weed, whatever. It feels very much like this movie. It's like I just want to watch. Like Dean Martin could have had like a whole like show going of singing like 10 songs, and I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
Oh
I'm here
yeah.
for
I'm
it. Just keep it
I'm
going.
I was surprised that it didn't bother me. Like when Dean Martin started crooning, because
Hmm.
he's not crooning the rest of the time. He's not even Dean Martining the rest of the
Yeah, you don't
time.
even
It
allude to the
kind
fact
of
that he
came out
can
of nowhere.
sing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind
Yeah.
of like sweaty and
They
like,
sing two full songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's well then and then Ricky Nelson joins in as well.
Yeah.
And again, I thought it didn't take me out of it. It's more like, well,
No.
these guys are in the middle of nowhere. They've got to wait 6 days, so these guys can sing and play guitar. It wasn't like an Elvis thing. There weren't people dancing in the
No.
background or
Yeah.
anything like that. It didn't
It's
derail the
it's
movie.
as though it's
Slightly.
as though they were all just hanging out on set, started doing that, and Howard Hawks is like, turn the cameras on
Roll
right
the
fucking
camera.
now.
Yeah.
Like, just
Uh-huh.
get this.
You
Like,
you think, but you talk about, Adam, like you're surprised like it wasn't cut, but I guarantee you that's what they were selling the movie on to like get like younger people in there.
yeah.
Is
Oh,
like,
for
hey,
sure.
we got an original song
We
by
got to
Ricky
put a Dean
Nelson.
Martin song in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dean Martin's gonna be singing. Like that was definitely a marketing decision to keep that in
Yes.
there. Something they would not do a scene like that
So then
today.
they could sell like records or something of like, here's like the
Exactly.
3 songs. No, I wrote down, I was like, I wonder if it was like in his contract of like Dean Martin has to sing X number of songs in the movie because it really comes out of nowhere. They didn't
Yeah.
have him like humming or whistling earlier in the movie to show that
Yeah.
he has some musical talent. It just
Yeah.
like, okay, here we go.
It
Well,
did feel very out of place, but it worked so perfectly.
Well, I'll
Yeah,
tell you
for
what.
sure.
So I got a couple of little things here from the sort
Oh,
of the
awesome.
behind the scenes that you might enjoy about like so Howard Hawks kind of like was resistant for casting Ricky. Saw him as too young, too lightweight. That's why he had like very, very few lines for a third build star. But he does admit that having his name on the poster probably added 2 million to the box office gross. But his first choice originally was Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
he
like
looks very like you
he
could
does look.
Yes.
It's just
You could
squint and try
really
drawing
see-
Elvis Presley from
Yeah,
memory. You
yeah.
get this kid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like Colonel Tom
LaCroix
Parker.
Elvis Presley. Yeah.
Yeah, Timu. Colonel Tom Parker wanted too much money and stuff like that. But like I said, so we can see it's. Imagine if it had been Elvis, it wouldn't have worked. I don't think it would have worked.
It's
No.
all you'd be able to focus on. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It,
Yeah.
it, it would be too much. It's in the wrong direction.
Yeah, almost like too big. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would distract. Because I'll admit, like this is my first Dean Martin movie, and if I wouldn't have looked that up, I wouldn't have known who that was. Because I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Rat Pack person. I would have been like, oh, Dean Martin, like I would like Frank Sinatra or something like that. So yeah, his presence didn't suck the air out of the room.
No.
That like an Elvis Presley probably.
complemented
I've
this
never seen an
ensemble.
Elvis movie.
Yeah.
So, but
My first Dean Martin movie was Cannonball Run 2.
good introduction.
Yeah, it's the classic one. It's where it all goes. I mean, I even like the little bit about you'd think having this movie and the way that you cast it up, you'd think that Angie Dickinson is going to end up with Dean Martin instead of ending up with 51-year-old John Wayne. But the banter, they had good banter because she is 26, he's 51.
Well, yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
nothing's changed.
Classic
in life.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
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 You could really see that because I had read that too. I was like, Jesus, what is their fucking age difference? But you can see it just their chemistry felt very wrong for me.
It's she. I felt like she is carrying so much of the chemistry.
Yes.
And like I said, even though this is like the John Wayne, one of two John Wayne movies that I like, I still could think of other people I'd rather see in this role than John Wayne. Like again, bringing back Steve McQueen. I'm like, why is
Yeah.
it not Steve McQueen? Like, come on. But I get it. John Wayne was who he was at the time. He was the Western guy. But I do think her interactions with him, I think she's kind of overcompensating a little. She's bringing so
Mm.
much charm
It's
and
pretty
so
full
much
on.
to it
Yeah.
that, I think she's working it extra to kind of get John Wayne
Yeah.
to be even semi-believable as a romantic interest.
I could see that. I mean, John Wayne, I mean, maybe he's done it at some point, but I've never seen him be like particularly funny with like timing. Like he's not one
No.
for jokes. So I feel like that had to be like the script. It had to be the direction and editing kind of maybe around him to make the timing better. And yeah, the co-stars. I'm sure part of it was like John Wayne's giving me nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's giving me like a hard stare that
Just
works
try
when
being
you're like,
hornier. Just be more
yeah.
horny.
Right.
Just really, really swing for it. But
I
it
didn't
just
really,
it felt like, oof.
I didn't realize Ricky Nelson how young he was. He turned 18 during production.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow, it's
Yeah,
like
literally
kinda like
just a baby.
Zac Efron straight off
I
High
was
School
like
Musical.
Leonardo DiCaprio in
Yeah.
The Quick and the Dead.
In Quick and the
Yep.
Dead. Yeah, man. I mean, like, I mean,
Wow.
there's so much. Oh, another part that I liked. All right, I like this part, especially getting into the Texas of it all is the bit where the rich like rancher pays that band, plays the sort of mariachi band to start playing El de Guilo, and it was like when he sort of brings it up, it goes, no, that's what the Mexicans played for the guys at the Alamo the entire time. Like it's to mess with them. It's ominous, and the fact that like it's playing in the background for the last half of the movie, like no, leave the window open, I want to hear it, kind of stuff. Or when dude's hearing it as well, when that's the sort of moment where he pours the liquor away, and it's
Yeah.
like it gets him focused again, kind of thing. And I thought that was like also just such a cool part. And it's like for me, when we're talking about the text of it, well, okay, all right, here we go. We're talking about the most iconic part of Texas history. If you live in Texas or from Texas, is like it's the Alamo, and then sort of like to take that idea of the Alamo and then to put it into this movie is essentially they're surrounded. And,
Mhm.
it's like, how are they going to get out of this? And sort of putting in those parallels was something I really enjoyed in this movie as well. I mean, like, Will, I see you nodding a lot. Like, tell like a little bit about that if you have any extra on that.
I mean, I think you're kind of hit it on the head is like that there's little things like that throughout the movie that kind of builded a tension, builded a situation, and I loved that where the music is just a constant reminder of hey, danger's still around. It's you
Hmm.
can't really escape it. It's just brilliant, and I like that John Wayne even at that point is just like can't really arrest them for playing a song, so
Yeah. Yeah, you
might as well
have
just enjoy it, I guess.
the tension of all of his gang members just kind of popping up and hanging out and rolling cigarettes, not really doing anything wrong, but you know that like some shit's gonna go down.
They're scheming
It's almost like
something.
it's almost like Hitchcockian, where it's
Yeah,
like you go outside and you look, and they're just not moving, and they're just like looking at you, like we know that you know that we know that you know, kind of a
Right.
thing. It's like you're just waiting for something to pop, and it work. Yeah, it just adds. It's almost like more like psychological warfare.
Yes.
It
Right.
adds to that tension of you're just like something's gonna go off at some point.
And
yeah,
there's different
Yeah.
ways of doing it because if this was Tombstone, Kurt Russell and his mustache would be like skin that smoke wagon. You know what I mean? Like he'd
Yeah.
be like he'd be
Mhm.
getting into people's faces, and he'd be like, irrelevant of this, but that guy's going to cause trouble. We should go mess him up. And like the whole thing, where he's like, well, he's not breaking any law. I know he wants to shoot us and break this guy out, but until he does, we can't do anything. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
that's bothering me, but like, as in, good for you, you dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, your moral compass, whatever.
Yeah.
Boring.
yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
shoot the fucking guy in the jail. Who cares? There's like 20 people in this town.
Right, yeah.
He tripped and fell
Just
onto a
put a gun on him, shoot him, and then put a gun on him. Be like,
Yeah,
you stole my
sprinkle some
gun.
crack
Yeah.
on him. Yeah, we know.
Sprinkle some crack.
Fucking let Stumpy do it. Who's gonna believe it? Like,
Right, exactly. It is
Yeah.
funny that at no point do they consider like, well, all right, if things get bad, we could just be like, oh, he's trying to escape. Pop,
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
darn,
yeah,
who's gonna dispute him,
that would never happen.
I think John Wayne. I know I read somewhere that John Wayne hated the movie High Noon, and because High Noon definitely goes into that kind of idea of moral good and like what the badge represents. Because spoiler alert, at the end, like basically Gary Cooper like drops the star at the end, kind of like saying "F this." Everyone, I was like left. It like calls into question all these things, these structures of power and that we stand for. But and like John Wayne hated that, so I bet John Wayne was very much like, no, I'm going to be noble and good, and I'm
Yeah.
going to be like the good example of like the good
Yeah.
force and the sheriff. So yeah, he wasn't going to do,
Fair.
and that's not to say he never did it in a movie. Just I haven't seen it. He always seems to be like trying to make like the moral high ground.
Yeah, and High Noon especially because it's about a guy who's trying to recruit a posse so that they can take on the bad guys, and everyone in the town is just refusing to take part. And that's the impetus for throwing down the badge at the end is just like, all right, I stood up for this town, I defended this town. None of you came to help me in return. Fuck you guys, and
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just done. John Wayne is just on screen is like, no, that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
immoral to do. In real life, more than happy to like turn his back on everybody.
For
And-
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely screen persona, John Wayne.
yeah,
I mean, I did read too that like this was like his return to doing the Western after his previous like 4 movies
Oh.
didn't perform well. So he's like, well, I guess I'll put the fucking yellow hat back on and the red shirt. Like he just like gets it out of his closet like he's returning as Batman or something.
yeah, because he's dressed exactly the same in this movie as he is in like 9 other westerns.
It's
like,
the same. He uses the same repeating rifle too. Like
Yeah.
Dude, I will say I don't know if it was like the Technicolor of this movie, but those colors popped.
It was
Those
popping.
clothes,
Oh, yeah.
they looked really really good. That yellow and red that he's
Yeah, looked
wearing looked effing sick. It looked really really good. Besides
looked
that,
like
there's a lot of brown.
Yeah, he looked like
brown everywhere. But
he
their
looked like a
clothes,
giant
I was
hot
like,
dog.
I felt like Technicolor was kind of wasted on this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
man, the Browns are going to be brown in this movie.
But a lot of like the scenes, like a lot of the scenery shot at night, I thought was really cool. Like the way they did that in the streets, like really moody, and when the
Totally.
guy is like holed up in the barn and they're trying to smoke him out, and there's just there's a lot of cool stuff in this. Like,
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
totally. You already hit on. I think it was you, or no, Will. You hit on the blood dripping in the
the
bottle.
beer.
So
Yeah.
that's maybe
So
one of the
cool.
coolest like moments in the entire movie.
Exactly what I was just about to
Super
bring
cool.
up as well.
Yeah.
Like and his reaction to it as well. Just not, and he just notes it and just moves himself slightly forward, and you're like, okay, he knows it, right? He's good, right? Is he good? It was
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I like the bit where they take over the hotel and they're trying to lure John Wayne's character downstairs, so they tie the rope and they sure enough lure him downstairs. He falls up and he's knocked out immediately.
yeah. You gotta love old movie logic, which is
I-
hit somebody just in the jaw lightly and then they're out for 3 hours.
yeah,
you
he
know?
is-
So they wake him up, splash of water.
Yep, that's it.
He went flying. He did play like that. He had a bit of a concussion pretty well, though. I will give him a little bit of that.
That wasn't acting. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot to talk about, when it comes to this movie. But we do have another movie. The last interesting fact I'll give you about this movie, I'll use this actually more as a warning to all the women of the world. But Quentin Tarantino has said that before he enters into a relationship with a girl, he also always shows her this film. If she doesn't like it, there's no relationship. So just if you want to protect your feet, ladies of the world, you don't like this movie.
No, I do the same thing, but with Terrifier.
Yeah. It's just Adam. Have you ever seen Terrifier?
I have not seen Terrifier.
Okay,
But I'm terrified to Google it.
Dude, it's Ryan's favorite trilogy of movies.
No.
But
You know
I'll
what?
tell
I will. Yeah, I understand that. When I started dating my now wife years and years ago, sometimes you got to show some stuff to be like, man, if you hate this, like if she would have hated like Breaking Bad or whatever, been like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
But also, I love this movie called Tremors.
we did it on the show.
Our New
Yeah.
Mexico
And
movie,
so,
right?
yeah, is it New Mexico?
Yeah.
Right?
Or, no,
Or
I'm sorry,
Nevada.
No, Nevada. Yeah.
And I was like, man, if he was like would hate this, I was like, I don't know, man. Tremors go way back. So
Yeah.
And then you watch all of the straight to video ones. They can fly now.
I think I made it 4 or 5 in. I was like,
I did the same thing. I brought like my then girlfriend back to watch the entirety of Spaced, which is Edgar Wright's TV show. And I showed her the best episode one from season 2, and she's laughing so hard. I go, hey, do you want to start from the beginning? She's like, yeah. And we watched it from midnight till 6 o'clock in the morning. Watched the entire thing. I'm like, I'm going to marry that woman. She gets an American that gets my humor. Okay.
There you go.
But like, I get it. It is like that sort of thing about taking a classic movie. But no, Ryan showed us Terrifier, which is just, it's the only time the three of us since the
All right,
podcast
Googling
started
this.
were in the same place.
Don't.
Don't Google it. No.
No.
You'll recognize
Be
it.
prepared to throw your computer.
Oh,
away.
okay. I've seen that clown,
The clown,
face
yeah.
or whatever
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
So the first, oh my God, he so badly scarred us, and then he immediately followed it up with now podcast legend movie Airborne,
Future
the 90s
champion.
Ohio movie about a guy that skateboards, the rollerblades in Ohio that Will and I started off making so much fun out of, and at the end of the movie we're like, this movie rules.
Completely converted. I bought roller skates.
It ends with a 25-minute long action scene race on rollerblades that is actually quite astounding to watch.
It's incredible.
Considering the Nickelodeon level of movie that it is in at the same time.
Stunts that are so incredible, they almost come close to the next movie that we're going to talk about.
Almost.
Almost.
That's the thing, because now it's time to talk about Action U.S.A.
Yes.
Okay, a movie that has a lot of action and is set in the U.S.A. It's the greatest action movie of all time ever shot and set in Waco, Texas. Also the only one ever. It is the directorial debut of veteran stunt coordinator Jon Stewart. And this movie, whoo, mama. It's everything I love and everything I hate about movies thrown together and just like created this mishmash of like, this is why I do the podcast.
This movie is what a 4-hour erection sounds like.
Yes. Oh, God.
I mean, some of the text read like Andy Sedaris could never come up with a movie this good.
No,
it's insane.
Never. I mean, when it was brought up that this is what we were going to be doing, I told this last week, but I had already purchased the Blu-ray. Like just by coincidence, complete coincidence. I had heard about this movie. I saw it was like discounted on Amazon. I'm like, yeah, I'll pick it up. And so then I heard we were doing this, so I was excited to watch it. And I've seen it 9 more times.
Shout out to Vinegar Syndrome for just doing the Lord's work.
So these are the same guys that brought us New York Ninja, right? So we had New York Ninja on the show, Adam, which is another just, oh my goodness.
I've heard of it.
Okay. Oh, Adam, we've got a whole season of your YouTube channel now. We're giving.
Gosh, I know.
This is the movie that like it was.
We're gonna see the progress of his channel take a dark turn.
The next 9 videos are all going to be about each villain in New York Ninja.
I would say New York Ninja. The very quickest way of putting it, it was a movie that was shot in the late 70s, early 80s. I can't remember. I think it was shot in the 80s. Entirely done. Never got edited. It was discovered in the 2020s by basically this company bought it out and they found 6 hours of footage and they arranged it, but there is no audio and there was no shooting script. So they arranged the movie by what it looks like it's supposed to be and then took guesses at what they think people are saying. And it's phenomenally crazy.
It is.
That sounds like a cool experiment.
Oh my God.
It is.
And they killed it.
Yeah.
They did such a good job.
It's but this movie is equivalent quality, but they have the audio.
I was like, this is basically what if Stone Cold met Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
In a dumpster. Yeah.
But
Fucked.
Yeah.
so everybody, so for the people at home that have never heard of this movie, because there's a good chance you haven't, it was shot in 1989. It did receive a theatrical release in the Philippines. But it tells the story, I mean, at least it tries to. It tells the story essentially of a guy that gets killed with his girlfriend and 2 like FBI agents, Brockett and Schlubs, as I called them,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's so 100% like trying to do the Miami Vice vibe. Sort of just roll up and sort of try to protect her from Frankie, who is definitely the bad guy from Roadhouse, but not. And essentially, it just goes from action scene to basically, my favorite part of this movie, if it can be jumped in a car, they will jump it in a goddamn car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, what do you think of like this movie?
You know what? It was never boring. I will say that.
No,
it's funny. You said Miami Vice. I was looking more. I was getting more of a Riggs and Murtaugh.
I said I wrote on the text right, Timu, Riggs, and Murtaugh.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of like mullet, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the Always Sunny version where they're trying to remake
Yes.
the
Yeah, my
well,
wife
it's
said
so
the
funny.
same
Also,
thing.
do you know the other? It's Always Sunny connection.
No.
Oh yeah, it's Mac's dad. Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
That was the only thing I knew going into this. I was like, this guy looks familiar. And I was like, oh my God, it's Mac's dad.
Luther McDonald.
Yeah, so that's the only introduction I had of this movie. Was
Who was also in 2 other movies we've done on this podcast.
Really?
He was a helicopter pilot in Stone Cold, and he was also one of the henchmen in Cliffhanger.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I was looking him up to see
my
what else he's done. I saw
God.
Cliffhanger he was in. That guy's eyes. He has eyes that will just
Amazing.
like stare into your soul. Super fun. I have a lot. All my family, on my mom's side of the family, all went to Baylor. So like Waco, Waco, Waco. We all talk about Waco. So it was cool getting to see kind of a slice of life of. I don't know how much I know a lot's changed in Waco, but maybe not that much in
Not
in a
really.
smaller town in Texas. But dude, I'll say the opening 20 minutes of this movie
Oh,
was like 95% of the budget.
yeah.
And I wished there's no way they were going to, but I wished they could have sustained that
Yeah.
level because at first, so oh man, how do you even start this movie? So it
You
starts.
start it with a Corvette Stingray with a 7-liter engine,
I
and
wrote
then
the
you bookend
coolest
it-
guy.
and then you put
Opens-
a set of breasts in there, and then the movie
Yeah.
starts.
Let me
when the top came off and the boobs came out with like a kind of a synth flute playing, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, so this is giving like early like Skinamax kind of vibes, the stuff you would watch like at 1 a.m.
Let me
with
just
your
read
parents.
from my notes here. I wrote,
Go for
opens
it.
with the Texas Sleek 1 Corvette and dude drinking a beer with a babe. Hell yes. Ross Hagen as Drago. My testosterone increased 69 points in the opening credits. Tits, 4 minutes in. We used to be a society. Had to close the blinds watching this one. And I wrote, jacked Freddie Mercury and Al Borland break in.
Yes.
An insane helicopter stunt that goes on way too long.
No, it didn't. It should have gone on for 20 more minutes. That was an insane helicopter
Dude,
stunt.
it was insane. Because I thought it
It's
was like,
crazy.
okay, it's terrible dubbing. Okay, this is what I had an idea what I was in for. Like, whatever. It's gonna try and do action. And dude, I think the moment when he was hanging out of the helicopter, I was again kind of leaning forward in my chair. I was like, okay, that's pretty sick. It looks pretty good. And dude, the stunts just kept coming where I was like, holy crap. There was some like Mad Max kind of
Yeah, dude.
Oh, for
vibes
sure.
going on. where it was like
Everything
this-
explodes.
in the most ridiculous way, like a car like would like tap into something and it'd be
Yes.
like the biggest
Oh.
I don't even know how to break down. I could spend an hour just talking about the 20 minutes at the beginning because there was a moment my kids I watched this during my kids' quiet time when they were like napping, but I had to have my ears in case they're coming out. I don't know what they're going to see. And it was the amazing moment when kind of at the end of that opening chase scene where him and this girl are like, all right, hold on, babe, I'm gonna gun it. We're gonna go over the thing,
Yeah.
over the bus and
The
everything.
school
A crazy taxi level jump. Like,
And she has this scream that sounds like a rooster.
yeah, yes.
That is insane sounding. And they go over, and so I'm like, okay, cool. I guess they're gonna like land it perfectly. I do not know what his plan was. He came down and eats it so hard, and just like you're like they're dead instantly. And then the other car is like, oh shit, here we go. And they go through this RV, and you think like, okay, they made it through pretty clean. No, the
That
biggest
explodes, yeah.
explosion you've ever seen. I was just like, my kids came out. And I was like, I had to show that to them, I think 7 times. We watched it on repeat. The
It's for
rooster
work.
call scream, the eating it, the explosion. I was just like,
It's
cinema.
equivalent to. Have you seen Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
I have not.
But you're familiar with the one
Adam.
skateboarding scene with
You
the
guys
blow off?
are throwing these movies at me,
okay.
and I have not
Well,
seen
it's just-
nor have I heard of these
Oh, wow.
movies.
Oh,
Do you
Adam.
like
do not have the
snakes?
clout.
Do
I
you
just
like
have
hot
the
tubs? No, but
But
like
you guys,
that.
Ryan and Ollie, you guys have been hanging out in the 80s and 90s. Me and Will are trying to go back to the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
I got a lot of cinema I got to watch. I can't
Adam,
watch
Well,
every-
I mean,
I guarantee Will has Blu-ray steelbooks of every single one of
true,
these
that's
garbage
true.
movies. He even had
Let me get him. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the stack behind him. I can't compete.
Exactly.
He's got novelizations of movies that you'd never even knew have novelizations.
But the novelization of this movie is just
Oh my
kaboom,
God.
like 89 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that,
you look like you smoked a cartoon cigar and your face is just smoked out.
Yeah.
like they didn't. I tell you what, like they don't mess around. Like you're saying, that opening sort of like 15, 20 minutes is absolute complete bonkers bananas, which is, and I'll tell you what, as a Wacoan myself, is that they are doing incredible work with 5 square blocks of
Yeah,
Waco.
you can tell they're easy.
Like it was
Yeah.
bonkers. Like the opening scene with the Corvette, they're just driving up and down past Cameron Park Zoo. And then that entire sort of like any chase scene, they're just on Austin, Washington, 5th, 6th, 4th. It's just like, it's incredible what they're doing. But there's one part in that helicopter scene where they're hanging out and that helicopter comes along the street between buildings.
Yeah.
And Zen and I were like, holy shit, are those just random people? Like, this is before the Twilight Zone. I'm hoping it is, because this was like, that was reckless, kind of like, that is dangerous stunt.
They should just do this opening segment every 15 minutes in Waco, like the Waterworld show in Universal Studios.
It was
Oh my God.
It was so good. It was so much better than it deserved to be in this kind of movie. Where it was legit, it was like, that is good. Like at one point she's hanging out of the car.
She almost falls out of the car.
And you're
it's
like,
crazy.
I was just so impressed. I was impressed because at first, like the first 2 minutes, I was like, okay, Skinamax, this is gonna be dumb. And then you're like, holy shit, this is so good. and then it kind of evens out, and you're like, okay, now it's just the other 80% of the movie was just kind of typical.
They just keep bumping into each other.
Never left.
My favorite though is at the end of this insanity, because the whole goal is they're trying to catch this guy because he knows where some diamonds are. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But after that Porsche crashes and flips over, the other car blows through the RV, it explodes. They pull up, they get him out of the car, and one of the guy goes, "Get the girl," and he goes, "Oh yeah," and he just like pulls her out too. It's like such a throwaway thing. Like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, sure,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then it's all capped off by him getting shot and then just yelling like, how many slow motion just like curse words are there before getting shot? And then you just see him like launch himself backward.
Great, but we say this all the time. Like, we'll take great or shitty squib work over CGI blood.
Oh, absolutely, dude. The heart was on full display in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I will say this felt like a movie that would be fun to be on set. Like it just looked like people were doing real in camera, jumping through windows, and it looked like a bunch of buddies just kind of getting together one summer to make a dumb movie that they wrote like in an evening of drinking beers.
This is such a movie like that would be on cable in constant rotation, but I just never even heard of this one.
Only. And apparently this got rediscovered in the 2020s. So this was a movie that had like, it's kind of like, like you were saying, with the same people that bought out New York Ninja, they've just sort of discovered. I'm actually like, I've got the opportunity. August 30th, they're doing a screening of the movie here in Waco. There's Chance, the cinematographer, right there. I'm talking to the guys, the guys from the Waco Independent Film Festival. I'm like, do you guys need someone to come and interview these guys? Because I'll do it. But like, I'd have so many questions because it just seems like it took 22 days to shoot. They brought in 3 original leads from LA. On the first day of filming, the lead actress walked off for a bigger TV role. Replaced by Texas-based Barry Murphy. Now, Mrs., my wife, like she was a model at this time as well. So like, but she was a bit, about 16, I think, at this time. But like, so it's one of the rival agency to hers kind of like just populated the movie.
Oh my God.
With like 17 of its clients. And then, so you know how Frankie's got the girls in the hot tub kind of thing? So we open with boobs, right? But then later on.
How could you forget? It's where he does his best thinking, yeah.
But it's like, so we'll get back to that. But like some of these were Baylor students, which is why they couldn't do nudity. So it had to just get around.
No wonder Cameron Mitchell signed on to this movie.
But like
Cameron Mitchell, who plays Frankie, he was a B-movie legend.
He was great.
He was great, yeah.
Cameron Mitchell, who is fantastic, because this is later in his career when he is heavy into drinking, and he is it might be, maybe it's in the notes. I feel like this is shot at his house. Like all the scenes with like Frankie where he's like talking with the girls. I think that because eventually in his career, no joke, he would be in like a ton of movies. All of them would film his scenes at his house because he refused to leave the set. And Cameron Mitchell was kind of a name, so they would be like, okay.
You guys living the dream. I mean,
it's like Steven Seagal only shooting from a chair.
Yeah.
Literally, it is that he invented this. So I guarantee you that is his house. And he told them, you've got one day with me. bring in all the college girls. I'll shoot with them, and then get out. I've got 9 other movies
Leave
to
the
shoot
college
this week.
girls. Get out.
Yeah, yeah. Good old Cameron Mitchell.
God damn.
So kind of like we have this incredible opening action scene that has this guy and a girl. The guy gets he gets dropped out of a helicopter, lands in Lake Waco. Again, now we have another car chase. Ends up him getting shot. And then just like basically Barry Murphy, Carmen's character, suddenly gets picked up by, like we said, these 2 FBI agents. You got Gregory Scott Cummings playing Clay Osborne and his secret sex lips, as my wife described him. And then you've got Panama. So you got William Hubbard Knight as sort of the black FBI agent.
Black Reacher.
Yeah, Black Reacher. And it's like they've got this sort of interesting dynamic. It's not quite Riggs and Murtaugh. This movie, right, got boycotted in the American South because the black FBI character says, "Oh, another day in Texas," and they were like, "Well, don't take kindly to this right here."
Jesus Christ.
I read that somewhere too. This movie does not pull its punches on Texas. It drags it many times. Like, I can't wait to get out of here. Shithole kind of hick town. You get all like the racist, kind
when he goes
of
to the country bar, I
stereotypes.
was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that at length.
We will, because that is actually something I desperately want to talk about. But we need to get back to, like I said, the biggest sort of problem with this movie is the central conceit is that the FBI agents can't get out of town. They try to fly out. Their flight's fully booked. Flight's fully booked. I'm like, guys, take 84, take 6, take 240, take I-35.
It was
You
the
could
80s.
just drive in any direction. It's like, no, we can act like it's an island. They can't get out of Waco.
It should be a drinking game every time someone has car troubles.
Yeah.
Because every other scene, it was like a story kind of structure or story kind of mechanic of the car needs to break down every other scene because granted, Texas is a big state, but they're also on the same road the entire time.
Yeah,
They go
Right.
3 miles. Yeah.
And they run
Yeah, they are.
into each other at every
Constantly.
Take a freaking side road, dude.
They stop to get lunch at a diner, and the 3 goons are just waiting outside, staring through the fence. I'm like, how did they know?
They
They're
get the girl
one-
back, and the FBI agents turn up at the same parking lot. How?
Real
Who gives a
switcheroo.
shit?
There's so many car troubles. Also, the times where it's they can't change. It felt like such a tease of how amazing the opening was. That all the gun trying action scenes just did not hit the same. They were still having to do some windows exploding, and they were trying to do that. It just wasn't ever getting until the very end, which we'll get to later. But it was the beginning was so good. Almost to the detriment of the rest of the movie because it was damn, it was so amazing, and then the rest of it's hey, we're driving. We ran into them. Oh, there they went. Oh, but my car can't start. And it's oh, okay.
They keep switching people around. It's like a Scooby-Doo bit where they're running
Right.
doors.
Right. They keep the girl and the guy, and now it's okay.
But we got to talk. So the core of this movie, I don't even know. Did we talk about the plot? They're trying to find some diamonds, right?
Oh yeah, there's diamonds.
Whatever.
He says a bunch of cryptic shit to his girlfriend. He gets blown away. They find a windmill. Who fucking cares?
Right.
Yeah.
But they call in. I like
She's
when
a
they call
witness.
in. They call in Drago.
Let's
Okay.
talk about Drago.
Drago. So, like you were saying, Adam, the 80% of this movie is, not a big action set piece. The other 80% of this movie is, in fact, a love story between Drago and this other goon.
Yeah.
Convinced that they were going to get married by the end of this movie. They fall in love so hard. It was cracking me up.
Bonding over prisons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Once he says Joliet, you could see the sparkle in his eyes, and they
Dude, yeah.
basically open mouth kiss.
What he would have done if he wasn't aggressively chewing gum in a peculiar way through the entire movie.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drago's character introduction had me rolling.
Yes.
I said he's got some
I
Ricardo
know.
Yeah, I said he's got some Ricardo Montalban energy
He
going
does a
on.
bit, but so at this point, Mrs. had left the room going, "This movie is ridiculous."
Yeah.
And but then Drago rocks up, and it's that great bit. They're waiting for him to get out of this small plane.
It's hysterical.
And then the plane moves out the way, and there's
To a smaller plane, which he then lifts up and
picks up
moves
with his
slightly.
I was ready for him
Why?
to fold it
Yes.
and put it in his
Oh,
pocket or
yes.
something.
And
I
just
was
eat it.
screaming at my wife, "You gotta come back!" He just picked up the plane and said, "What?" I go, "Oh my god!" And then, oh, this is my favorite part as well. So then we get this great long sort of like tilt up, and it goes from his boots, and he's got the Marlboro belt buckle.
Yeah, great.
He's got a duster on and a cowboy hat, and they're like,
you had to send away for that belt buckle.
Yeah,
like, you had
yes.
to send cigarette tabs to get that.
dude, I want it. And he was like, and they're like asking about how he's dressed. And he goes, "You heard of Rome, right? This is Texas. I dress like a Texan." And I was like, dude, you do not.
I wrote that down.
I'm all in.
It was a great introduction for him, and he was a fun character. Like again, like,
yes.
it works because you liked watching them because like they were doing their own kind of Three Stooges kind of like dumb stuff, but really kind of they were interesting. They they gave him some personality, which was fun. It made it which you don't expect from a movie of this caliber. You expect and it was like 95% cliches, but those other 5%, I was like, okay, there's a little something there.
I mean, they hook you in with that cold open, like the beginning of this movie, so you're just like, I gotta see where the rest of this fucking turn goes.
Yes,
and I was on board.
Okay, I've got a random little fact about Ross Hagen, who plays Drago.
He got married to the other guy? Is that what you can tell?
Yes, he did.
Weddings in July.
No. It's interesting enough. He played Landon Ricketts, a retired gunslinger in Red Dead Redemption: Undead Nightmare.
Shit. Okay,
to the point that when he died, Red Dead Redemption 2 has 2 locations named after him: Mount Hagen and Hagen Orchards in his honor.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So there you go. This guy's
Another
legit.
excuse to play Red Dead 2 again.
I guess I'll go back in for the 4th time. Here we go. But yeah, he turns up, and then it just becomes, it's like the opposite of No Country for Old Men. Essentially, instead of like Josh Brolin trying to get away with the money, we've got the guys, and the diamonds. You got the guys trying to chase him.
Oh my
and
God.
it's just they're having interactions and stuff like that. It's all country for young women.
Are you positing that the Coen brothers saw this movie?
Yes.
In the 80s.
Oh.
Were
Cormac
inspired.
McCarthy was like, slow down. Slow down.
How do you spell diamonds? Okay.
picks up the plane. Okay, we'll do that one.
Yeah.
But like
that had to have been improv too. Like he's just like
it's impossible talking about this movie in a linear way because I feel like we're just gonna hop around our family. Like right before that moment where we're introduced to him, there's the point where like they jump the ditch successfully and the other guy doesn't and kind of goes down the ditch in this kind of like maybe like 10 feet in the slowest way. And I was like, okay, followed by the most massive explosion.
What's your point?
I had the biggest smile on my face every time.
I knew that was going to happen. Like when it was crashing, I'm like, it's gonna explode. I was so ready.
Every car chase ends in a Dukes of Hazzard style vehicle jump that immediately ends in a gigantic explosion.
But what then
there was a RoboCop level gas station explosion that happened.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
We'll get to that.
That was
The
awesome.
ditch crash though, right? Explosion. What happens immediately after? We get the screams of the guy.
The guy's on fire. Yeah,
I get a pretty legit like firewalk.
Good. The stunts were on point. The stunts were so good. They deserve to be in a movie that was like such high caliber, like huge budget. What they were able to do, like putting this, like scrapping and clawing this thing together, it wasn't honestly impressive.
I mean, look, it's no different and then completely different.
It was soft. John Woo's soft target.
I was gonna say more like Hal Needham. Hal Needham coming from being a second unit director and doing Smokey and the Bandit, the second biggest movie of 1977, right? Yeah. So these guys are like, it's like I said, you're so right, Adam, is that there's people falling off cars, really well done. There's jumping through the window backwards, really well done. There's the Melody Ranch scene where like just being thrown through windows and thrown through stuff. It's so guys, we have to spend 20 minutes talking about that.
Gosh,
scene.
I know.
But my favorite, the bit that made me laugh the loudest is we're just off downtown and Mrs. again, she's like going, wow, dirt roads downtown. You can tell this was 89. But it's where the car sort of like, you got people sitting outside their house, car veers, and it takes the corner off a wooden house. And then there is a beat. And then it just explodes.
I know.
I cracked. I started crying. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, sorry about your house, and just drives off.
They never come back?
No.
So funny.
I had to rewind it because I'm like, do I know who these characters are? Like, because we hang out with, like,
No.
oh, it was great.
I mean,
loved
if
it.
you want to talk Stumpy from Rio Bravo, let's talk Stumpy's great grandson who's running the gas station
Oh my
off
goodness.
Highway
That
6.
was,
The guy's like,
that was a bit much.
Yeah. Apparently they loved him because in the blooper reel at the end, that
Yeah.
guy is like
Yes.
50% of the bloopers.
You're right.
I have to admit, I was not expecting a blooper reel at the end of this
Neither,
movie.
dude. Oh my, and immediately too. And like it
Yeah.
ends and then immediately has a blooper. I was like, okay.
I had to unsend a text message like, oh, it's just the one blooper. But then I kept watching the credits. It was like every 2 minutes there was another. I guess you can call it a blooper, but
Yeah.
actually, okay, there is a question I do have. There is one character in this movie I recognize, an actor I recognize, and it's the guy playing the FBI guy who's,
the boss.
spoiler alert, is the guy who's
It's
also
not
trying
Powers Booth.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like Burt Reynolds, but he's a burn victim. It's
Burt
like,
Reynolds, yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
Son of a bitch!
God
Why
damn
did
it.
I not say that?
God damn it.
That's a much better joke.
Oh,
Oh,
so good.
but why do I know that guy? Because he kind of looks like the guy from Commando as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, let off some steam, Bennett. He looks like a
Yes.
little bit of that, a little bit of Burt Reynolds.
He's got a
like,
great voice too.
He does, and I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I've seen him in something before. It's driving me crazy. But
He's
but
just a
outside-
Powers Booth type. Like
Yeah.
honestly, and Adam, you were the one, like, you're right about it is impossible to talk about this movie from a linear perspective because it doesn't go in a linear way. It's just like this happens and then this happens.
it takes place over the course of like a couple of days,
A couple days, yeah.
right?
Could be a day, could be 6 years. Like,
But let's talk like the scene that really like it skirts just the.
Are we going to the bar?
We have to go to the bar.
The
So
honky-tonk.
not only
I
The
was
honky-tonk.
I text them. I was like, I was really worried there wasn't going to be a scene at a country western bar. in this
Yeah.
movie.
It's a prerequisite. If you're doing like if
Yeah.
you're traveling in the South, you got to stop at a honky tonk.
oh,
You gotta understand, we had just watched Rhinestone, so I was not prepared.
Adam,
for this
this
scene.
Melody Ranch is my local. This is where my
Oh,
wife and I
awesome.
go dancing. I know
That's
Melody
so
Ranch
cool.
well. It looks exactly
That's
the
insane.
same.
yes.
So I'm
That's
like,
so
this-
cool.
you've ever seen pictures or videos of me two-stepping? I'm at Melody Ranch. I
Ollie's
was
gonna
there-
start doing Waco helicopter
You
tours.
said that. I am dead serious about doing
He's just
that.
like, for an extra $60, he'll dangle you out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
But it is a scene that is weird in so many ways. One, we've got the weird Three Stooges sort of interplay going on with the bad guys.
So much to say
two,
about this.
we've got, at some point, Carmen gets up on stage and does a musical performance while trying to hide from the
No
bad
notes.
guys. But three is the played for gags, the played for humor plot of Panama being the only black guy in this place. And actually, they successfully pull off the comedy of him being thrown through things
Yes.
3 times. And I was
crying.
actually laughing, and I go, I can't believe they've gone for this is for the laughs. This is for the laughs.
Oh my God, my favorite character in all of this is the woman who does the cover fee.
Yes!
It's the car, the girl walks in, then you get the white FBI agent walks in and pays $3 cover. He's like, I'm an FBI agent. He goes, it's ladies' night. It's not FBI night.
Yeah, which goes, oh,
Yeah.
FBI, so it's one for each letter.
Yeah.
$1 for each letter.
In the most Edie McClurg role
Yes.
you could ever imagine.
Well, she reminds me of the waitress from No Country, not from Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water.
Oh, yes.
How do you not want it? And it was like that cracked me up. But yeah, okay, guys, let's get into that scene because if it's, the Panama of it all was so funny.
But even like just sidebar, so they're already in the bar, but then you have the 3 goons who are trying to get in, but they can't because they're not wearing the right attire.
Oh, uh-huh.
So they have to assault 2 people to take their cowboy hats, which then complete their disguise. Like,
Yep.
And it tells you, you'd never be able to pull it off. You're never going to put. It's just, we've got the random.
it is
part where
very
the,
Three Stooges.
the
Yeah.
people being interrupted having sex in the bathroom.
Oh yeah. uh-huh.
Jesus, he says,
I
wait,
saw that coming. I saw
wait
that
your
coming.
turn, asshole.
Yes. Oh.
God damn it.
Did they
Is that-
always
is that
stop
still
in
the
there
policy?
Because Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah,
At the bar, Ollie, is that still the policy there? They
Oh
go,
yeah.
That explains why it's your local watering hole.
yeah.
Is the glory hall
that
still in there?
stall. There's like a plaque. There's a
Yeah.
plaque above the toilet of.
This is where it was shot.
It's the cast of Action USA and Ollie Pettigrew.
The whole reason they stopped in there story-wise was it just because like the car was overheating and they needed
Yes.
water for it?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
don't
Yeah.
even
everything
remember.
was about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Which they then drive off in, and it's fine.
and then it breaks down the next scene. It's like, oh my gosh,
It's just good storytelling, I think.
it's just
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's called progression, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, him getting thrown through a window or thrown through like parts of the place, not once, not twice, but three times. I was dying.
I mean, someone throws one punch and
Yes.
immediately the entire bar,
Yes.
you get a POV shot of a guy that turns around. He's dancing with someone. He turns around and immediately throws a punch.
He's like,
he's been
finally.
waiting all
Yeah.
night for this.
It's like the classic Western joke trope of everyone just waiting because it's this everyone else goes, "Ooh, fight!" and everyone
It's
just
the
immediately
fucking
starts to fight with
Roadhouse.
the person next to them. But while she continues singing and the band's like just having a good time, like Roadhouse style,
It's very Roadhouse.
then
Yep.
she finishes her singing. Everyone forms a sort of like a corridor for her to go down so they can all cheer her on before she doesn't get grabbed by the back. At this point, I'm like, I wish I was drunk. This
Yeah, and
movie.
then you get the bit where she's trying to seduce the other two guys.
Oh,
which
that's
is,
so
like,
funny.
Oh yeah.
she, like, really,
Immediately captured, and she immediately just gets sexy.
The love of her life was assassinated 24 hours
Hours,
ago.
hours before.
And she's already super horny for the FBI agent, and then she's really laying on the charm. Like, she forgot about that guy real fast.
She forgets she's in danger throughout this entire movie because
She's having a blast.
yeah,
She's
because
hungry.
when they're at
I
the
don't know
motel.
how. I don't know how she forgot because the poor girl is getting slapped and punched and called a bitch like
Oh my.
5-6 times in the movie.
I did
Poor
like
girl's
that.
covered in blood. All
She
the
takes
time.
a post shower. You get this really long
Yeah.
like shower sequence in the motel. Then you
and
get
then through the window.
Freddie Mercury bashes through and just she's covered in blood.
God, I was
It's
dying. The movie forgot for a second what genre it was. It's like we're a Friday the 13th movie, right? You know, and she opens up and the guy jumps
It
through.
jumps through.
Great.
Oh my God.
Well, it's honestly in both. It's the opening scene, right, with her boyfriend, where they're trying to get, and she goes, "Well, you're not going to need this gun, are you?" You know, and then what happens? He really needed that gun 3 seconds later, and it's the same thing in the motel. She goes, "What's the worst that can happen?" Opens the gun.
Immediately,
Guy comes diving through. I'm like, this girl needs to stop tempting fate because every time she says anything, it happens.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
god. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
There's a bit where
Perfect film.
now the male FBI agent is captured, and it's the black guy and the girl are trying to find him, but their car breaks down, so they're just walking because it's Texas and they have to walk 35
No,
miles.
this part.
And they pull up to the Mexican
Oh
workers,
gosh, yeah.
and they need help, and he's like, "Hey, we're with the FBI," and they just all fucking
start
scatter.
running away. The
How timely.
2025 of
Yeah.
that joke was just like I couldn't
Gotta say.
believe it. And oh no, I even like when they just randomly showed the guys riding around on motorbikes, I go, "Ooh, Chekhov's bike. Here we go."
Yes.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because $50 says that bike's going to turn up in 2 seconds. Then surprise,
I wrote-
surprise.
I wrote they should use this movie to teach defensive driving school in Waco.
What?
Show
No,
this in classes.
Can we now? Okay, as much as we are making fun about this movie, there are some really, really momentary sort of flashes of, what do you call it? One of the greatest car chases in history with Popeye, French Connection style,
Oh, yeah.
cameras,
Oh, dang.
camera mounted on the front of
Yeah.
cars.
I wrote there's a lot of Sam Raimi style shots.
You know,
doing
there
this.
was some. There was like there's moments of just like like
Good
they
camera
get a
work,
sense
yeah.
of speed when these cars are doing things. They get a sense of danger because I think it was just super dangerous to make this movie, and it just like it's just
Yeah.
these moments. If you could cut an incredible trailer for this movie that would
I
I bet
totally-
there is, yeah.
you know, it's just,
Just
like,
using two scenes.
Yeah, you could
Um,
truncate this into like a 15-minute short film and it would blow your fucking tits off.
Yeah. Speaking of like the camera, I made a note at the very opening action scene. They were getting their money's worth with that camera, with that hood mount. There were, I don't know if you guys
Oh, when
remember,
they're
there was
going
a
through the
part
parking
when
lot?
they go in the
Yeah.
garage, it's like 5 minutes.
Then
Yeah.
there's
of,
a
like,
shot
that
like
same shot.
there's a shot from the street corner showing that whole parking structure, and I'm like, is this car gonna fucking like launch off of this roof?
Yeah.
Like,
For a
what
minute.
is gonna happen?
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing too.
But later on, like here, kind of getting closer to the end when they're on that road, that long stretch of road, and have like a good action scene.
It becomes hard
Um,
target. Yeah.
it becomes hard target. You have the guy. I don't know what this like Drago, whatever. Supposed to be like some brilliant assassin. He's like hanging out the car and just instantly like falls out, which is hilarious. Which is
Two
so
people
funny.
fall out of a car. Yeah.
Two
And
people fall out, not one or two, but two.
But you get
They
the shot
burst
too.
through
It's
the back
it's
window.
the back
They burst
window.
through the
How would that happen?
That was cool.
That was like,
it looked cool. I don't know how they did it, but it looked
it just
cool.
goes like, and you see both
And
of
then
them
you
fly
have
out of the
again,
back.
you have like the moment before death, the slow motion, the "I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh,
I love
That's my
yes!
favorite part of the movie.
Love
Yeah.
that.
The bit
God.
with the yes, so many instances of trucks being
My
passed
gum!
and things.
I know how many trucks are in the middle of a road.
Say, it happened a
It
lot,
is-
and I'm
God.
amazed they didn't jump it, but they went under it this time. They circumvented my expectations, and then yes, I'll see you in hell, mother.
That was great. But they have
Explode.
him. He's got to jump from that car.
It actually says
pickup
explosives
truck.
on the truck as well. It
does,
says
yeah.
Yes.
explosives.
You can
It's
see
like a
Wile
Looney
E.
Tunes.
Coyote
Yeah.
standing there.
Yeah.
But he's got to jump from this car to the pickup truck. But instead of jumping into the cab, he has to
I
jump
know.
through the passenger window.
I was like, why aren't you jumping in the bed? It's like right there. It seems like
Yeah.
an easier stunt, like the easier stunts you've done.
I love this kind of stunt work because it feels so dangerous. And
Totally.
maybe because it doesn't, didn't feel like it was a car being pulled on a trailer. It felt like someone was driving
Yeah.
that thing
Yes.
and he was going to jump to that car.
Totally.
Oh my God.
I would not have been surprised if I looked up IMDb and there were like 5 people died in the middle of this movie. Like I
Yeah.
would not have been surprised because it looked like dangerous.
But not from stunt work. It was just cocaine. Overdose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, you won't find much on IMDb, but you will find a fact that every one of us in the movie definitely would have noticed. But it was, despite protestations from the director's wife, Barry Murphy, the lead woman, refused to wear a bra throughout the entire production. And it's
I definitely
we're
noticed,
Like,
yeah.
even my wife was like, "Dude, he's just freeballing the entire time. Just no, not gonna wear a bra. Not doing it."
A
The
very
wife-
three-dimensional character.
There is, this movie, like,
Angie Dickinson would never.
yeah. This movie is one of those ones that I say everybody should watch. It's definitely one of those movies you get together with your friends and just play a drinking game, like Adam was saying. It's kind of the same thing that we've been bringing up recently with some of these movies that aren't objectively good, but are also incredible at the same time for the love of movies. It's just for the love of it, because as much as, like I say, I can shout from the peanut gallery, I've never made a movie. They have. And it's a movie that, not only has been rediscovered in the 2020s, but we're talking about now, and it's doing a showing next week. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just
this-
the love of movies.
I kept waiting, like watching this entire film, like anytime like a new character was the tease of them going to be introduced, I was hoping it was going to be a bigger name actor.
Right.
Like I think if the even if the core cast had like just bigger, like slightly bigger B movie names attached to them, it would be a bigger cult hit. That's not to say it isn't, but I was just like, I think it would elevate it just a little bit more.
Bigger than Cameron Mitchell? I mean, come on. You got the king right there. By
But
the
I
way,
mean,
his character completely drops out of the movie. There
Yes,
is no
he's in
wrap
2
up with him.
scenes.
Frankie,
Yeah.
so Frankie just goes on to live. He doesn't, is
He drowns in his hot tub.
Honestly, this is where I believe Will actually. He just refused to leave his house.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely what happened. Is they ran out of time shooting. He said, "Get out of my house! I'm shooting another movie, like right now," and kicked him out and
In the
shot his
same
next
hot
film.
tub.
Yeah.
In the same exact thought. You're not even joking about that. I can name the next movie where he's like exactly like that.
Fucking pretty
but
badass.
you're totally right though. My last note was that this is like the perfect midnight movie to watch,
Oh,
like in the
yeah.
theater with an audience. One that everyone has seen it like 3 or 4 times. It's kind of like a Rocky Horror, where like I could absolutely see people like screaming out certain lines and cheering for explosions. This is not a bad movie. Like it rides that line of like, man, the acting was kind of bad, the dubbing was bad, whatever. It's like the script was paper thin, but the action scenes are so fucking good. And it's fun constantly throughout. and it's the perfect movie that you just want to laugh and cheer with a room
It's
full of
ridiculous.
people.
Absolutely. Look, there's one thing is that as much as I promised Adam right before we started rolling, is that this season we're doing much shorter episodes. We have been talking a lot.
We have 2 more hours to talk
just-
about the guy falling out the window.
I just know that Adam has a hard out in 10 minutes, which means
It's not that hard, but yeah, it's not. No, we're fine. I'll let you know.
good.
How we're doing.
My
No,
closing-
we're doing good.
My closing statements for this movie, the last notes that I wrote down: everything explodes, everyone falls out of a car, guy falls out of a window. The end.
essentially, and then like he hooks up. I mean, the bit. Okay, explain to me this part. All right, we're on the border. Why? And we've got it's not like Oklahoma and Texas, like, oh, you can't catch me now. It's America,
Yeah.
but we're on the border. And it's the bit where the bad guy gives binoculars to white FBI
Everyone
agents.
has binoculars.
Yes,
Everyone.
they do all the time. And he sort of looks in the binoculars and he sees his friend in the car held hostage, right?
Well, he was shot and they got him. He was
Yeah, they've
went to
got
the
him.
hospital. and they
He's
got him.
shot. Yeah. But the blocking of the scene afterwards is he runs out from the bridge to directly underneath. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't need binoculars to see. He was 25 feet away. You know, it's just like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then like the way they play off that he died as well. There was just so much peculiar about this movie. But like you're saying, Adam, is like,
it was like a really bad Miami Vice ending, like where she's like, don't worry, I guess there was a hole in my holster and he's got some illegal diamonds. Like, I guess.
And they just go, screw the FBI, we're stealing this.
Well, it also had. It's like they took the first take of them kissing. I don't know. This is like totally random, but they're it's like no one was ready for the kiss, and their faces are like smashing into each other.
Did not like that.
You're like, whoa, this is not the chemistry is not there.
Also, what is why the title of this movie? Why action USA? Like,
because there's
action Texas, or I don't know, because they don't leave Waco.
That's what I'm saying,
dude. Because it's got action and it's shot in the USA.
It's the only road trip movie that doesn't leave the state.
Yeah, it doesn't leave the fucking
totally.
city. I'd say the other one is like my wife was rolling her eyes. So my wife is half Panamanian. And the origin story of Panama is when he finally tells us the origin story of his nickname, she's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like when I grew up in New Jersey, it's the furthest place I could think of going. And she just turns and looks at me.
And I think there's a line where he's been an FBI agent for like 15 years.
Something like
that. Like there's some
for a long,
like,
I
was like, what?
They're trying to get in their 20 and they're going to retire. But yes, and then it's they end up
too old for the show. Yeah,
it's the exact ending actually. Now I think about it, of Too Fast, Too Furious, where they both end up stealing money while also working for the FBI. I can't believe I just referenced Too Fast, Too Furious, but it's like that's the level of movie. Let's not forget Too Fast, Too Furious does end with a car jumping from the land and landing onto a yacht. So honestly,
that's true.
This movie sauntered so fast movies could go faster.
This was a fun movie. I had a lot of fun watching this.
Me too.
Hour and a half. It did
tight 90.
Yep, do agree with Adam. Now that I'm rethinking about it, I'm like, yeah, they fucking blew their wad in the first 20 minutes of this and kind of like...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
So did I.
There was 5 chase scenes stitched onto each other.
Yeah.
Like when he fell out onto the lake, you said Lake Waco or whatever, I was like, okay, cool action scene. And then that was like halfway through it. It kept going.
Now we still
she is somehow following a helicopter throughout this entire city that ends at like a dam.
Yeah.
Which is what? I don't know how, like the distance, the logistics of this are crazy to me.
You know, that's the bridge where my daughter caught her first fish. Like I said, it's all these little things.
We joked like that, picturing that opening sequence happening while Ollie's just taking his kids to school or running to the grocery store. I even said there's a bit where the POV shot of them weaving through traffic with a white Toyota pickup truck, and I told you just got to cut that to your reaction, just like, what the hell?
That's my track right there. Honestly, yeah, this movie was bonkers. But something that Adam also brought up at the beginning is our long-running Texas champion has been Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights has stuck it out. It has taken challenges. We've had a lot of movies come up against it. Dazed and Confused, Hell or High Water, Bottle Rocket have all been in here. Dang. And once we sort of like get into the weeds of it, it's been Friday Night Lights has pulled it off. It was a movie that when we saw it, we were like surprised that there's moments of it that we were like, no, this movie's just a good movie. Like there's certain scenes that have stuck with us. So Adam, Friday Night Lights, have you ever seen Friday Night Lights? And as a Texan, give me your read on it.
I have. I didn't watch it, rewatch it for this podcast because I didn't know how much we'd get into it. But I've seen it probably like 3 or 4 times. Watched the TV series. I'm a big like football fan. Didn't play it myself, but it's inescapable. Living in
Yeah.
Texas, the culture of it for sure, and really, really enjoyed the movie. When I made a video essay talking about kind of what your whole podcast is about too, about like different states and kind of the different genres they lend themselves to. And I said that I think Texas is the only state that it can be considered like a football state
Yeah.
because they have, I mean, a number of movies. A few are like Friday Night Lights, Necessary Roughness, North Dallas 40, Varsity Blues, just to name a few.
Hmm.
So it's a unique genre. So I think that's pretty special too in talking about Friday Night Lights. But yeah, I mean, just I do Explosions in the Sky as a soundtrack.
Oh
One of my
yeah.
favorite soundtracks for a movie. They're one of my favorite bands. Half of them went to the college I went to, University of Texas. And yeah, it's I grew up in a city called Mesquite, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. So I certainly wasn't like small town, middle of nowhere. Like, is it Midland or
I think so.
Odessa?
It's like it's
It's
around that area, but it's that
yeah,
West Texas kind of like the
kind of middle of nowhere where the whole town shuts down for this. I think I think it's the best examples. I think it's the best example of how you do that movie
Mm.
and how you see people. You get the father who has the ring, but he peaked in high school and he's never going to do anything with his life, passing it on to his kid who has to live vicariously through people so desperate to find some way to escape. You have is it Booby Miles who's
Hmm.
like breaks down like the whole like you're from
Oh
Midland, right? The doctor
yeah.
won't let him play, and he's just like
that's the
crying because
scene.
that was his one escape to like get out and go do something with his life. Phenomenal, phenomenal movie. I would love to hear though. I know you guys have probably talked about it so much, but I would love just to kind of get quickly like why has it reigned supreme for you guys 2 times in a row and possibly a third tonight?
Well, it's kind of like it's all the things you just brought up, and like and
Yeah.
it's very much like I mean that scene with Bobby, that was the one that we're like that's what elevates this movie. It shows you just the pain of it. You've got the small town investment in it, like everyone's sort of like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. If you're not winning, your job's under fire. It's the focus of what it is. It's I was even talking, I mean, I did a video just as that Englishman in Texas the other day, which went pretty big, where I was telling this funny story about how my brother-in-law his story is actually basically Friday Night Lights. He's remembered as being like the champion quarterback, but they actually went to state and lost. But he is
Oh
so
dang.
famously well known even 40 years later
Mm.
that we go into school. My wife had been a television star, she'd been on modeling, she traveled the world. We walk in and the principal goes, "Oh man, you know who these guys are? This is that Englishman in Texas and this is Alfred Black's sister." 40 years
Dang.
later, she's the sister of the quarterback. It's like my daughter was getting personal training, like physical therapy, sorry, because she hurt her back. Same thing. You're Coach Black's daughter? Like
That's
it's
crazy.
wild because this is
the
like, wait,
culture the culture is crazy. Like I went to my high school, our district of a number of schools. The football stadium they had
yeah,
held maybe like 30,000 people.
it's
Like
incredible.
this was like a high school, like holding stuff that's bigger than some colleges.
That's
Like
nuts.
it is such like it's where all the money comes in from. It's like some people's only claim to fame, or like I said, escape of how to get out. Uh, yeah, I don't know
It
for the
feels
people who
almost
are
like a
living like in
documentary, is
There's
what.
something
yeah,
inherently
Yeah.
timeless about this
hmm
movie. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it's set
totally.
in what, like the
West Texas.
no, but like the
Like
time frame.
80s,
But
90s.
exactly.
Right?
There you
It
go.
doesn't matter. Like,
Exactly.
It could be today.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like that still. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's something so fascinating about that, and it just that's what my modern association with Texas is. Now, I'd argue Action USA is the most Waco movie just because of everything Ollie has told us. And I
It's
would
also like a
associate.
documentary.
Yes.
Hang on. Yeah.
But it's like because we
But
had Dazed and Confused, and that was the one that I brought to the table. It's the very first Texas movie I saw. It's a big part of my upbringing and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
It's a good one.
we had Hell or High Water, had Bottle Rocket, and it's like there's the Bottle Rocket is shot in Hillsborough, just up the road, and it's like it's a very small like sort of thing made by a bunch of Texans, but it's like it was like I know a bit too wacky, and Hell or High Water was a bit too West Texas, but also shot in New Mexico, and it's just it's kind of like, Adam, is like you're kind of getting into the weirdness of the podcast is we think we know what's going to happen, but when we get into the conversation, it kind of ends up somewhere. So like even now, I'm not ruling out Action USA. I'm not ruling out Rio Bravo. It's the thing is that once we get into the discussion, it's like, what does it actually mean? Because like, Rio Bravo opens with a shot of Arizona, and like Action USA is an insane, bonkers, ridiculous.
But did they give the director of Action USA the key to the city like they did for Mike A. Kim for Miami Connection? Like, I don't think it's that big. Like,
right.
That's another movie you've got to do.
Well, what is y'all's goal when you're deciding on the movie?
Unclear.
Is the goal of y'all's show, like for you guys when you're deciding like the movie? Is it like, what is the one that like, because I know for me, when I was making a similar list, it was what's something like this couldn't exist really kind of anywhere else, or like this is like uniquely like certainly you could do Friday Night Lights in Arizona or whatever, but it wouldn't, I feel like it wouldn't ring the same. It wouldn't probably ring as true of the culture or whatever.
That's a big one. That's a big one that Ryan will bring up going, yeah, but you could make this movie in Colorado and it's the same movie. Exactly. Right. So that's a big part of it. Part of it's like cultural impact, and part of it's just kind of like the zhuzh of it. Like they brought up Miami Connection. Again, a movie. If you haven't seen it, Adam, you've got to see it.
You guys are giving me you're giving me a laundry list of movies I'm scared to watch.
Miami Connection.
And you should be. No.
A movie that was made, again, I think during the 80s by a Taekwondo school teacher. It was shown 3 times in Florida, in Miami. It got rediscovered randomly just in a storage room. Someone watched it and they go, this is the greatest bad movie ever made. And everyone and now it's a midnight movie. People go just to watch it. Like I said, and for us, it's like, for us, part of it is just the magic and the joy of movies. So that's why sometimes we get movies like The Wraith winning, and other times we get movies like Ferris Bueller, or you get Oscar winners movie winning. It's like, it's all about kind of just a little bit of the juice.
Rhinestone won last week to paint a picture for you. We just like, it's crazy.
It's kind of how much can you identify the state within the movie, like how much of the DNA of the state is in there.
How many license plates do you see?
How many Ernests are there in it? That's but that's like that's a big part of it is, when you boil it down, be like, if you lived in the state, what could you point to and be like, that's definitively ours? That's,
beyond just like your atypical like iconography. It's such a hard thing to do. I think because we did RoboCop, which was, everyone associates with this Michigan, Detroit movie, but it's all shot in Dallas. But it's still, but you still associate it as such.
Totally. Yeah.
Which wins because how much does that where it takes place embraced the movie and like claimed it? Because like Dirty Dancing, for example, where does that actually?
It's north of New York, but it's shot in North Carolina.
And they've just grabbed onto it so much.
Like, this is ours. They got parades. They got everything else. It's the same with Last of the Mohicans was shot in North Carolina, but it wouldn't exist if it didn't have the iconography. It's the same with Hell or High Water. Even No Country for Old Men are not shot in Texas.
Right.
It's like they're both.
Wait, No Country for Old Men is shot in Texas.
Not entirely. A lot of it's shot in New Mexico.
I think that's what we talked about. We almost picked it for one of our episodes.
That's the thing. Is like that's the kind of the weirdness of sometimes is there are movies that are iconic for certain locations that are shot in Canada. I mean, I wanted to say that I think Insomnia, Chris Nolan's one that I think won for Alaska the first time around, was shot in British Columbia.
And same thing with oh my god, what's the other Taylor Sheridan movie?
Wind River.
Wind River.
Yeah, we love that one as well.
So Wind River is great. That makes sense. I think that's the reason why I could see taking Rio Bravo off, because a lot of those, even when I made my list of movies, kind of anything before 1960, it's like you're on a stage or you're not there. You're trying to evoke something, but it doesn't live and breathe. You can't, like, even like you guys were pointing out, like, that's not the right kind of trees or whatever you guys said. It's like, okay, that's not it. It's almost like you're embarrassed to actually go there and like have that be in your like DNA of the movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not enough to really detract from a film. For me, like I just always, again, I didn't grow up watching Westerns, but I just always associated them with Texas as a whole, regardless of where they
everybody
were.
does. That's
Right.
why they think
Yeah.
that's why they think there's cactuses and it's super dusty in Texas.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like,
I think
there
I
are
can't remember,
trees here.
I can't remember what movie it was. It's another John Wayne movie that opens it's in Monument Valley. It could not be more Monument Valley. You see the mountains and it just goes El Paso, Texas. And it's just
Yeah.
come on, guys.
I know.
You're not even trying.
It would be
Like,
funny if
you
they
got
did that
the
in Action
Eiffel Tower
USA.
in the background.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Right.
it's such a funny gag that I guarantee you like the Zuckers stole it whenever like they did like
Yeah.
they just say the White House and they're just like Seattle, and it's just stuff
It's
like
a funny
that.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But this is a tough one. Like I said, I think Action USA is arguably the most Waco movie. Do I think it's more Texas than Friday Night Lights or Rio Bravo?
it does have a guy
No.
going, you heard of Rome, right? I'm in Texas. I'm dressing as a Texan. We've
Yeah.
got
I think the
Uncle
reason
Tom-
I would say no to Action USA is because
'Cause you're wrong?
Maybe quite possibly. It doesn't feel like a love letter to the state.
There you
It
go.
feels
No.
it feels like it feels like it hates the state.
New wrinkle.
That's what I texted the guys is I'm like, I can't tell if it loves Texas or hates Texas because
they-
half the time I'm like, I
They're,
don't think you
they're
guys
dragging
like
it
it.
the entire movie.
We've run into
Yeah.
that too, where like if you're from this state, would you want to claim this as your
Yeah.
movie? Probably not for Action USA.
Yeah, we've had.
If
You're,
you're a-
right. And
If
honestly,
you're a pussy.
but Adam, what you've just done is what happens in the discussion. Is at some point someone makes just the perfect point, and you've made
Yeah.
the perfect point. Is that as much as like the wraithiness of it all, the hard ticket to Hawaii, the New York Ninja of it all that is Action USA, and as much as we would love to go, oh, this movie is terrible and we love it, give it a crown. You're right. It's not being nice about Texas. It's actually slagging it off. It's being a bit mean. It's saying everyone's dumb or racist. It's like no one's cars work.
It implies everything in Waco just explodes.
Which is again.
I mean, they're all outside. They're all kind of outsiders, almost like
Yeah.
trying to write about something they don't know. So you devolve into stereotypes of just like.
Which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
why,
even though like some of it is stereotypes come from some truth, like
True.
certainly a lot of racists in the South and Texas isn't unique to that.
A lot of things
But yeah, a
explode.
lot of it felt like they couldn't wait to get out of there. But anyways,
like Friday
yeah.
Night Lights is it's a cliche, right? Because it's a football movie in Texas, but it's not a cliche because it tells a true story. Our
Yeah.
favorite part of the movie is that they don't win. The very same team the next year won. And you're like, well, why didn't they make that version of the story? No, we're gonna tell the story of it's not about win the championship. It's about what it means to play football in Texas, what it means to be in a small town in Texas. And that's why like it's been such a strong competitor here on the show that like after what you said, Adam, I got no argument against it anymore. I'm like, I feel like we're still backed into the corner on this one of it.
Until we do Varsity Blues.
Yeah. I tell you, like, so look, it's
Or just the not another teen movie part. That was
I actually showed that to Zen. I go, you've not seen not another teen movie, so you got to watch this scene. But yeah, guys, can anyone sort of beat that point from Adam? Because it's the banger. That's for me.
I got to throw my hat in for Friday Night Lights again. Like it's the reigning Texas champ for a reason. It's gonna be a tough one to take down just because
we might have to retire it, like put the number in the rafters.
Yeah,
because we've had Giant. Yeah, we've said, so we've still got No Country for Old Men's out there, but we've like Bonnie and Clyde's out there, I guess. The Last Picture Show, we've talked about maybe doing that one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we did do.
We did for
that was for a horror
State
thing.
of Fear, yeah.
When we did State of Fear, Paris, Texas is out there. So we've, I mean, like like some of the sort of like of like the top
Rio Grande.
Yeah, Rio. Guys, I also read that it got remade again with John Wayne again. There are 2 remakes of Rio Bravo,
Stop.
both
No
starring
way.
John Wayne. Yeah. I'll see if I can find that quickly.
Have both of those be the contestant. Have those
Yeah.
be the
Oh, shit,
challengers.
Oh,
There are
that'll be the
maybe
end of us.
Texas. I don't wonder what you guys think, and I know we're kind of wrapping up maybe a little in a second, but like Texas is up there, if not like maybe the best just cinema state because there's so much like diversity.
Yeah.
You have like a lot of states can claim westerns, but I don't think they can have enough of like plethora and different shades of westerns, like the amount of classic westerns, kind of modern westerns, neo westerns, some horror movies. You have like sports movies, and
Racing movies.
it has so many good stuff. And yeah, you have a lot of tours from, like you said, like a lot of you have your Linklaters.
Yeah.
And
You got the
even
Austin vibe, you got the Austin weirdness, you've got the
yeah.
music scene. And it's like, honestly, mate,
Yeah.
I've made the last 3 years of my career has been telling stories about Texas because it's an absolutely bonkers, fascinating state. It's got its own unique history.
is.
You know,
Yeah,
it's got
it is.
history that like no other state has got. It's got a level of state pride that elevates above any other place I've been. It used to be its own country. You know, it's just that you're absolutely right. And we talk about this, that when it comes to sort of states, and I'm sure you discovered as well on your own journey, there are some states where the selection of movies is like wafer thin.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
then
gosh, yeah,
you've got a
totally.
California, a New York, and Texas. And it's like, oh, which one of the 1,000 movies are we going to do that talks about this
Totally.
particular
Yeah.
state?
Hundreds of
So-
beavers.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, like I said, I think what we have done is we've set Adam on the next 3 months of his life of like we can just a list of
Yeah.
must-see movies.
Have we ruined your
Wait.
life?
But I will say
I'm gonna
this.
text you guys while I'm like bleeding out of my eyes at 3 a.m. watching one of these crazy movies.
We'll add you to the
Yeah.
group thread.
Yeah, we'll watch them with you, man.
Yeah,
But as you've probably figured out at home from the
Wow.
consensus here, as everyone, that once again, still the movie to define Texas until we find another movie to take it down is Friday Night Lights. It is it is a great movie. It's a great representation of Texas. That being said, Rio Bravo was a truly,
Amazing.
eye-opening watch for obviously all of us. Something that would, I honestly send me down a bit of like, I'm open to some more of these movies now. I didn't realize that I could really enjoy this kind of thing. And then Action USA is just don't miss it. It's honestly, find a copy on VHS if you can. I think it would be better
Yeah.
on VHS.
Oh,
to
that's
just
a
like,
good point.
That
you know,
would be cool.
in a bit more mono.
With commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It would be fantastic. So
Watch it with like the biggest crowd and like with alcohol
Yes.
and drinking games. Like that would be a party vibe watching
I'll
Action
tell you
USA.
what, guys.
When is the
August
thing in
30th,
Waco?
August
Yeah.
30th. If anybody wants to be here, I'll be there.
We might have to all
That's
fly out. Yeah.
that's my plan. But that being said, yeah. So that's our champion. Like I said, we've listed a whole bunch of other Texas movies that we could maybe take down. And honestly, Adam, if you wanted to come back for Texas, bring some more movies that are like you haven't been able to bring into. Please, by all means, do that. Now, next week, we are going to have another special guest returning as well, Adam Lance Garcia. We're going to be going to Kentucky, but at this point, usually we would tell you the movies we're going to do. We're still trying to figure that out. We're still trying to circle which movies we think are going to be able to take down. What was it, guys? It was the
Next of kin.
Next of Kin, Patrick
Next of Kin.
Swayze, Liam Neeson,
Oh yeah.
bonkers.
Deer head in a
bonkers
refrigerator. Great movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie was terrible and fantastic in equal
Loved
measure.
it.
So Kentucky's where we're heading next time. If you love movies, we could not more highly recommend Entertain the Elk. Adam's YouTube channel, his TikTok, he does these long essays that are fantastic. Or if you're like someone like me sometimes that has 3-minute concentration, he's very good about breaking them up and putting them as a series on TikTok to take you through not just movies and states, but also great TV shows. Like I said, the community stuff and the Scrub stuff has been absolutely fascinating.
Your Bob's Burgers video was
Yes.
top notch.
Yes.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you guys.
I was watching your Simpsons one as well, the best
Yeah.
Simpsons episode just this morning. I was like, sorry, the best Family Guy episode. And I was like, yep, I love that one. Road to Rhode Island, great episode. Quote that one all the time. He's wearing a wire. Anyway, you can find more from me as that Englishman in Texas on Instagram and TikTok, or Ollie Pettigrew on Facebook, where I'm very often talking Texas. So on Mondays, I usually talk movies. We'll see. You can find Will as Entitled Millennial, where he runs his game show that's not a game show, Off the Shelf, where he picks one of the many movies that he has in his huge cavernous collection. They are quite incredible. And you can find Ryan and his designs as Rhino Digital, RYNO Digital, though you're also going to be able to find some of his latest designs on our Facebook page, United States of Movie, in particular, Rhinestone 2, which is, I can't wait to post this
the
one.
Curse of Drinkenstein.
Yeah.
Outside of that, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do. Find us on our Facebook page, drop us a comment, tell us about the state that you want us to go to and the movies that you think we should be doing. Rate us if you haven't, and do me a favor, tell your movie-loving friends about us. Come on by, join in, and go on the adventure that is the discovery of the United States of Movie podcast. But Adam, thanks so much for joining us. You've been a fantastic guest once again. So from Ryan, from me, and from Will, and from Adam, thanks for joining us on this episode of the United States of a Movie podcast. We'll see you next time.
See you in hell.
Explosion!